You are listening to NUFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army. Live daily on the website, on YouTube,
on the AB,
and on every online radio directory.
NUFC Talk,
the voice of the Toon Army.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to NUFC Talk TV. I'm Michael Grimslaw, a face you might not have seen for a little while. Back in action tonight, and tonight, as you can see, I'm joined by Boaky and Win. Boaky, I'll start with you, mate. How's it going?
Good. How's yourself, bud?
Yeah, feeling a lot better, thank you very much. That viral bug that's been going around hit me like a freight train, I can't lie, but back in action, glad to be here. Win, what about you, mate? You doing well?
Yeah. No bad result to have to contemplate, unless you consider Arsenal getting beaten in the Champions League as a bad result.
I think most people will say a good one, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I
if
think
they had
on
won
the
the Champions League, if they had won the Champions League win, did it on your little graph thing, would we have got into Europe then?
No, sadly not. No, because
nightmare.
Close enough.
They changed the rules, didn't they? Where they went to even if Arsenal had won, the additional place would have gone to the next coefficient. But that still means coefficients matter, which you didn't think they did matter, but they do.
Mind you, what a bloke straight away in the chat there.
And no, Prosaic, he's a legend. And it has gone to, thank you, Prosaic, it's gone to Ed Lua Coles. Or Ed Lua Collars, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Let me know what it is, buddy.
Anyway, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for getting us started on a great note,
yeah.
Prosaic. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, as you'll be able to see in the thumbnail and in the title, what we'll be talking about later is the players that have been cut from Newcastle United, Real Madrid, after one of the, rumoured players that Newcastle are after, and it's probably not the one you're thinking. But what we're going to start off with, got some interesting discussion now. I want to get kicked off about Champions League money versus Europa League money, the future of Fabian Schär, and how this World Cup is going to completely change the transfer market, and maybe we're going to get a little bit ahead of ourselves and get a little bit impatient. So strap yourselves in. We've got a long one, but I'm going to start off just by sharing this one in here, and also forgot to say hello to the chat there as well. Hello to you. But what you've got in front of you right there is some UEFA financial figures that have been doing the rounds online at the minute. Prize money distributed. We knew what Newcastle were going to get when we got eliminated, but it's just in comparison to the rest of the league there. I'm aware it's probably a little bit small for some people on there, but basically what you'll see is that in Euros, Arsenal top the way, as you'd probably expect, with 140 million. Newcastle, the lowest of the Champions League teams, with 64 million, and then Aston Villa with 40 million, Nottingham Forest with 24 million, and then obviously Crystal Palace right at the bottom with 20.4 million. When you're looking at that, obviously Champions League teams are always going to be there, but you look at, let's be honest, coefficient, we're probably a bit closer to Nottingham Forest than we are Villa these days. Is it actually possibly more beneficial, Win, for Newcastle to qualify for the Champions League, then do absolutely nothing, than to qualify for the Europa League back-to-back years financially? Because I'm not going to lie, you look at these Europa League figures, 40 million for winning it, it just seems doesn't seem enough at all, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, bear in mind it is 40 million for winning it, but
yeah.
it is also entry into the next year's Champions League.
True. Yes.
So that needs to be taken into account as well, of course.
Yeah, obviously Forest sat there with 24, and they made the quarters, not quarters, semis, losing to Villa.
Yeah. But it's still a substantial amount of money if you compare it to any other income they've got. It'll be up there with there'll only be Premier League telly money that probably
gets near it.
Gets as much as that. So it's a sizable amount of money. But it just you look at the teams that finished further than we went, and says it all.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
a lot of money in the Champions League.
Exactly, and obviously Newcastle have this weird thing at the moment where we qualify, then we don't, then we qualify, then we don't. I mean, whether or not we're going to qualify for next year, I'll leave for a topic for a different time, because we don't know what's going to happen over the transfer window. But looking at it, if Newcastle had just qualified for the Europa League for, let's say, 4 years instead of the Champions League for 2, we'd be in exactly the same position.
Well, it'd be worse
financial.
It would be worse off because those Europa League prize monies now have had a significant boost from what they were the previous years.
Yeah,
it proves as though after the season that we've had how much of it this is going to be a major issue. Not this next season, but the season after, because this money will go into next season. The season after, we're absolutely buggered because we've got absolutely no European football, so there's no extra income coming in from Europe.
Goes to show as well, if you don't qualify next year, you're in a real tough spot, because you haven't got the prestige of saying we're in Europe come towards you, or you want to join the club for that reason, and we're certainly not going to have the money there to pronounce it through that.
You can't get the same level of players in, can you? And the problem is the level of players we've got now. Some of them will want to play European football year in, year out, which is understandable as a footballer. So we're going to lose some of the footballers that we've got as well. It just shows what one season can do to be a complete, as I say, a nightmare for everything over the next couple of years.
And you could be right, and Wazza in there celebrating 22 months of membership. Thank you very much, buddy. And hopefully more than 22 more to come. Massive thanks to Win and his audio server he sent me. Very impressed. Just need a Benwell Panther squared sequel in there. Thank you very much for the 22 months, brother. It is much appreciated. But yeah, the thing for just around then, you're completely right, Boaky. It does just go to show how one poor season can impact a club. That's 60 million. You get that every season. You're operating in a completely different financial universe to anyone else in there. But I think it's almost... Sorry, go on.
We qualified for the Champions League last year. Well, this season just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Were we able, even then, to attract the very best players? No, we weren't. So we ended up with the window we had. And that was despite the fact that we were in the Champions League.
Broken record. Same thing over again. It's the transfer window. It's nothing else's fault. It's all down to the transfer window.
All I'm saying that you're saying that not being in Europe prevents us signing top players. What I'm saying is, even when we were in the Champions League, we couldn't sign top players.
Well, that's a broken record thing that you keep saying. So for me, you can't sign top players because we haven't got a top manager. That would be my thing.
There's plenty of reasons why we're struggling to buy top players. The only hope you can sort of have is, we've managed to, the financial side of things, shall we say, managed to attract the likes of Bruno Gomes. So the gems are out there. You've just got to have what's behind you to, get the right players in with that. And sure, Champions League helps. Europe every season helps. Having a massive name in the boardroom all helps, and you can almost think of the like a sort of devil's advocate, no matter how you look at it. But I think the debate sort of for me is, you're looking at Europa League football, and yes, there is a team down the road that are going to have that next season, and it's going to be particularly painful when we do these shows on a Thursday, knowing that's going on.
Let's just see what caliber of player they're going to attract in Europe.
It'll be very interesting to see. Because you're looking at Bournemouth and Sunderland, SCR could be a massive hampering on them. We're going to want to stay around that 70% mark no matter what. Let's be honest, we're not going to go mental. I think it does just show, though, for a lot of these teams, it isn't worth being in that Europa League spot, that Conference League spot, from the financial side of things. But you don't see it that way as a fan.
I think
I don't
got
see
a
it that
completely
way.
different model to us, haven't they? They've got a completely different model of how they're going to do things. They're not going to go out and buy big Premier League players, like we tried. They're going to scout around Europe and stuff. I think they're a very, very different model to Sunderland, to Newcastle.
Yeah, I think they are at the moment, but I think that's also due to necessity. Sorry, Wim, what were you going to say, Matt?
I was just going to say, well, Marseille have always tried to sign top players, think back to Waddle and whatnot, and it's the same ownership, so why would they lower their sights now that they've got a Premier League club in Europe? That's what I would say.
Let's just hope they don't get too ambitious, because they're certainly going in the right direction. But sort of, when you were saying you're not seeing sort of where it was coming from there. I think it's a case of, when you look at for Newcastle, the ability to play 2 or 3 games a week has always been a struggle, and it's a case of, purely from a financial perspective, is it worth dropping those places in the league because you can't do 2 or 3 games a week for the 40 million or the 20 million you get in the conference? Now, for me as a fan, absolutely. You can't, 40 million doesn't buy memories. Probably would buy a few, but I think that's sort of the main argument for that. But I guess yours would be the other way around, I take it.
Well, I believe that unless you're in Europe, you're not on the world map. Now that, obviously that's multiplied if you're in the Champions League because of its global transmission, shall we say. But you need to be in Europe, which is why I had no objection last season to prioritising Champions League matches, Marseille being the prime example, over the upcoming Premier League match. You want to win your Premier League games to get into the Champions League. Mm-hmm. So surely when you're in the Champions League, you want to prioritise it and try and win it. If the sole raison d'etre is just to get in it and be there and participate, that's not what I'm a football fan for. I want to win stuff. I want to try to win stuff.
I completely agree.
So this season, are you saying, would I prioritise Premier League over FA Cup and League Cup, Carabao Cup? Most certainly, because we want to get back into the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess. Sorry, go on, Matt.
No, I was just going to say, I know we disagree on this, Win, but you've just said there that you would have prioritised the Champions League over the domestic cups. So do you think we should have then, put put younger teams out against, or different teams out against teams in the sort of the Carabao Cup sort of thing? Do you think we should have done that now?
That's not what I said. I said we should, this time, in order to get back into the Champions League or into Europe, let's say, we should be prioritising the Premier League.
All right, so
the Champions League, the Champions League was the preeminent competition we were in last season, so that's the
next
one
season. Next season you would drop the cups. Next season you would be willing to.
I wouldn't drop the cups, but I would prioritise Premier League, obviously.
Yeah. But that's not what you said this season.
That's what Monkey Spud said as well.
We're already in the Champions League, so that's what should have been prioritised.
I get what you're saying. You say if you're not in the Champions League, you're going to prioritise getting back into the Champions League. But when you're in the Champions League, you want to go try and win everything.
Yeah.
And we'll do Monkey's super chat because it really comes into this conversation.
I said prioritise Champions League and EPL over domestic cup months ago, and went off it. Now he's flip-flop. No, what I said was, we're good. the easiest competition to win is the Carabao Cup, followed by the FA Cup. It's easier to win 5 games than it is to win 38 games.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, there's no reason at all why we should drop priority over the FA Cup for Premier League when we're already in the Champions League.
Okay. So for this season going ahead, to clarify, let's say we've got the EFL Cup. We have the same route we had this year: Bradford, Tottenham, Fulham. Before you play City, you would want to play sort of not weaker squads, but rotated squads in those games.
I hope we've got a better squad to rotate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm just making sure everyone's on the same wavelength.
I'm not talking about hiding kids. I'm not talking about hiding kids in at all. Unless they're ready.
Oh, never mind.
Unless they're ready.
Michael, you weren't here at this point, but this was the best squad we've ever had. This was exactly what this guy was saying.
And
when he came on and says, I'm going to take all you guys on. I'm quite happy to go live. And you sat and said, best squad ever.
Was the best squad ever?
So we're not going to have that quality of squad next season. I can guarantee you that now.
No. I hope this squad's going to be better again.
No, this squad won't be better because we're not in Europe. You're
Why
going to lose other players. You've lost your best.
So far, we've lost
because
you've lost
your best winger. You've lost your top scorer from last season again. Then there's a good chance another 2 or 3 top class players will leave. So the squad isn't going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Well, let's see who will lose and let's see who will get in.
There's going to be a lot of work needed to be done in the summer, and I'll hold my hands up and say I wasn't saying best squad ever, but I was saying this is the best squad we've had since the early 2000s. And I was saying it wasn't even close, personally, being you looked at who we brought in. And it should have been, in theory. I wouldn't have said best ever, personally, but, it's a strong that should have been.
I'm talking about 24-man squad.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. But for me, it's still... There's still a lot of players in there that I wouldn't have wanted to see in the squad. But again, hindsight, etc., maybe more looking at it now. Jacob Murphy would have been one of the players you look at in the summer and go, great squad player. Now no one wants to see him in a Newcastle shirt ever again. So completely get that. We mentioned youngsters there earlier, potentially going through. I will go through some of the chats that we've got in there just from what we've been talking about. Steve Waldo in there saying conference would have killed our Champions League hopes next season if we'd had any. I'm inclined to agree, but I don't think conference in Europa has even nearly as much of an impact as what being in the actual Champions League does. I don't know what you used to think in regards to impact on the squad.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at who you play in the Conference League compared to who you play in the Champions League, there's the worlds apart.
I think it depends on how you play the games, doesn't it? If we go into it this is the couple of big learning curves I think from this season for Eddie Howe is you have to be willing to change your team around. He's got this mentality that he wants to play the best team every time he goes out, and it's great on paper. If you think about it as a sort of a fan sort of thing, you think, I always want to put the best team out. But it's not the right way to go about sort of having so many competitions. Sometimes you do have to drop, certain players to give them a rest and bring in other players because it's a long, long season if you're in Europe and you have to be able to, have players who are match ready to come on halfway through the season. And I think that's where we went massively wrong this season was he played his best team every game at the start of the season. Then we ended up halfway through the season, half the poor buggers were knackered.
There was certainly games where you were looking at during the season and going, it looks like he needs a bit of a rest to certain players. Malik Chow being one of them around that January, February time in particular. But obviously he had all those big games at the time. I can understand why he particularly wasn't. But there was a few in there. So yeah, completely agree on that point. RSL in there saying Europa isn't going to make Sunderland more attractive. It's still Sunderland. Yeah, to be honest,
He's from Liverpool.
It's still a shithole.
if you see the reaction to BBC's Radio 1's big weekend that they had there, you had people complaining about the noise in and around Sunderland city centre. It's bringing in millions to is it a city? Is it a town? Is it a village? A shithole?
Can I just ask for these Sunderland fans where they're going to be flying from to get to these games?
Oh yeah,
Teesside Airport.
You gotta fly from Newcastle to get to UEFA. You gotta fly.
I wanted a full rendition. We've got you guys in there as well saying we'll be competing for our fellow mid-table teams for players. To be honest, probably, but maybe that's a good thing because we'll be more likely to get them. I mean, we're looking at the João Pedros, etc., who we were going for, Liam Delap's at the start of last season.
Do you know what I think the thing is, Michael? It's not just that we'll be competing with them teams, it's the players we're going to lose. It's the good players that we've managed to get in over the last few years, that we're potentially going to lose this window because we've got nothing really to give them in regards to European football. That's the sad thing, is we do have good players, but we're going to lose some of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're going to lose some players. Hopefully the buck stops with Anthony Gordon. You wouldn't think so. But it also might be, for me, one of the...
Do you not think everything's sort of quieting down a whole lot now in terms of all these players that are supposed to be leaving? I mean, it could be to do with the World Cup build-up and stuff like that.
That's what I was just about to say.
The transfer window's not open either properly, is it yet? It's with Anthony Gordon was a strange one because of the way it worked with Barcelona, but any club wanting to buy anybody from us in this country, you can't do it till in the start of, well, is it the start of June, is it now?
No, 15th of June.
15th of June, so...
Yeah, so we've got a lot of time between now and then, and to be fair, Michael's in there saying who we're going to lose, AJ, not Anthony Joshua, AG and Tino, that's it. I think, to be honest, there'll be a lot of clubs circling around our players, the likes of your Lewis Halls, the likes of Tonali's, the likes of Bruno's, trying to test the water. We know what Fabrizio Romano's like. It's probably going to be 700 tweets this summer about Newcastle players being interested in going elsewhere.
Done deal.
Exactly. It's going to be absolutely mental, isn't it? But I think one of the things that we will see, and actually I think they're the only ones that I could really see leaving to potentially go on to better things. Maybe Voltemada as well, but again, he's got the World Cup. If he has a good World Cup, there's no way we're going to let him go for less than what we've paid for him, really. So you're looking at it and thinking there's a lot of players who could leave, but the ones that actually will leave, I don't think there's that many that actually people will come in for. I don't. Well, maybe you've got a few in there that maybe I'm wrong.
Just on the subject of Voltemada, there was an interesting chat in the forum this afternoon. Saying Voltemada is not physical enough for the Prem. And I replied to that saying, I think that would certainly be a valid conclusion you could draw having watched him last season. But he was getting better towards the end. And, it takes time to adapt to the Prem. I've said that a million times.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It depends on where Voltemada plays, doesn't it? If he's up front by himself, he's never going to be that player. Let's be honest. He's never ever going to be a player who's going to be a bully up front. Like a Shearer type sort of. Putting his head like a Dion Dublin type, putting his elbows out and stuff. That's only because I watched Homes Under the Hammers the day. That's why it popped into my head. But he's never going to be that type of player, like chucking his elbows out and being a ball holder upper. But if you play him with somebody else up front, he is a good technical player. I think that's the difference is, and I've said this before on the channel, if you play Beardsley up front by himself, he would have looked crap. But if you then put him up front with somebody else, he sets him up so many goals.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing with, I mean, I will say actually last night, I only saw the highlights of the cameo he had for Germany. But his first touch wasn't far away from the Germany box. And the first thing Nagelsmann said was, "Oh, if it was up for me, he wouldn't be anywhere near the edge of our box." So that seemed a bit suspicious to me. But to be honest, the flicks that he was playing and the build-up play that was in there for him against I can't even remember who they played. It wasn't a great team. But in that sort of lineup, Germany were going to have a lot of the ball, having the little flick around the corners that he does oh so well. In that number 10, just showed he can come that deep, but they also got him a lot further forward as well in that transition. And maybe that works well for international football, a bit slower paced, a little bit less physical in the Premier League. But there is a future for Nick Voltemade, I think. And I think everyone wants to see it. I don't think anyone wants to see him particularly moved on.
No, I'm very happy to have him stay. But I do want him to improve. Mainly in the physicality thing, because so many times last season, the ball was played up to him in his area, and rarely did he come away with the ball. Oh, you're
muted, buddy.
He's never going to change in that way. He's never going to be that sort of player. He's never going to be the big... because he's tall, everybody thinks
I'm not talking about necessarily up front. I'm talking about...
No, but I'm saying because he's tall, people think him as being like a powerhouse striker. He's not that type of player. He's never ever going to be that. He's going to be a very technical player. And it's going to look... It looks strange because he's so tall, but that's what he is. He's not a powerhouse up front.
But you still have to be able to handle yourself and come away with the ball. If you can't do that, you're no good in the Prem. Simple as.
But if he was 5'11" or 5'10", you wouldn't think that as much. I think it's because he is so tall and people see him as a big presence. They expect him to be this tough guy up front.
Yeah, yes, and that's what I expect him to grow into.
That's not his game.
Well, if he can't handle himself, he's never going to improve in the Prem.
It's a difficult one because I get where you're coming from, but there have been players like him, but with not the height, who get by in the Premier, who do well in the Premier League.
Such as
the player that I've come.
Bellamy, I suppose, would be a big one for me. Sorry,
Bellamy was tough as toast, man.
He wasn't. He was as rough as a badger's arse in regards to being a player, but he wasn't tough in regards to if he had a big centre half against him. He was not a lot of the time.
He would fight for that ball and scrap it like a little terrier.
I think we'll remember him a little bit differently. I think that's a good one from the chat. Crouchy. He's very much in the role of Crouchy.
Well, no, Crouch could handle himself. What surprised people about Crouch was that he was also very good with his feet. And Voltemade...
That's exactly what Voltemade
definitely has... No, but Crouch was a lot more physically capable than what Volty is at the minute. As I say, I've got every confidence that it'll come. And I hope it does.
Just in there as well with his height, one of the things that I think referees think as well is that because he isn't really the most physical player, as you say, that he goes down maybe a bit too early. When he's being held, he should be able to burst through, and I think referees won't give him the benefit of the doubt because of that. And Phil's saying there, Big Nick's come from the Bundesliga, the least physical league out of the Big Five. I think it's certainly down there. Fulham had 2 players holding him onto him earlier in the season with no fouls. He needs to be more physical and holding off, and I think it's either that or he needs to be less modest. Look at the Arsenal game, for example. That Gabriel incident. If he goes down crying like a Ben Barrett and Diaz, I mean, it's Gabriel. He probably still doesn't get a red card, but you're much more likely to see it. And I think he either just needs to be a little bit smarter, or, as you say, a little bit more physical. The player that I compare him to quite a lot, and to be fair, he scored in the Champions League finals, Kai Havertz. Deceptively tall, not really all that strong, not really he's not a centre forward, he's not a centre midfielder, although Arteta played there. Tries him in the false nine. Chelsea couldn't figure out how to play with him. But Arteta, when he got him in that system last season, he was absolutely phenomenal. And you look at him and you go, you know what, I don't really know what he does well, but when the team plays through him, they're better for it. So that was sort of the person I was making earlier in the season, and I think I see it more and more when I see him played in the 10. There might be some people who watch Arsenal more and say absolutely not, you never know what you're chatting about, but I feel like I do.
And not only that, but here's the thing, that I think that's exactly what Eddie identified when he dropped him back. I think that's what he tried then, but the problem was then he dropped of his own volition, dropped too far back to get involved, and then he hasn't got the pace to get back up where we want him, kind of thing.
That is a big difference between the two. Havertz has a lot more pace about him,
Yeah,
and he's not quick.
Do you know what
but
I
he
think
still
the
gets
thing
around.
is with Voldemort? I think we'd all sit here and say he's a great player.
Yeah.
It's sort of a question, how do you solve the problem of Voldemort? Because he should be playing in the team, he should be doing really well in the team, but how do you sort that problem?
Anyone want to buy my Arsenal pencil case for a £5? It's only missing 2 pens.
Easy.
Well done, Monkey.
Thank you, Monkey.
Thank you very much, buddy, and wonderful stuff as well. Yeah, to be honest, I completely agree. We talk about the conundrum of Voldemort, and I'm not going to say that's another reason that Howe's been kept on, because it's gone wrong this season. But there's only a few managers, I think, that actually have worked with them and would have an idea of how to do it. Nagelsmann being one of the others, obviously heavily linked. So I'm hopeful that changes. And to be honest, I'm not massively hopeful on how things go based on this season, but that's a story for a different time. We're going to put that in the past and we're going to move forward. But if we can figure out the conundrum of Nick Voldemort, and we feel like we're getting closer to it when we play this 4-2-3-1, we do actually have something somewhat exciting to, should I say, cling on to?
Well, it is. But you're absolutely right. It is. We're kind of clinging on at the minute. You're dead right, because for the fanfare that he arrived with, and absolutely my expectations, because I'd been saying get him for over a year prior to us getting him. I was delighted, and I was disappointed. It's not as the understatement. When I saw what he was doing.
Do you know what? I think Wynn made a really great point at the start when the season. Not very often I think Wynn makes a great point, but he did. In regards to Voldemort, Wissa should have been the player that was playing in the team at the start of the season. Wissa was brought in as the Premier League ready striker.
Yeah.
Should have been, keeping with kind of the style of football that would set up for, because we still thought we were going to have Isaac, and then that didn't happen. So I think Wissa was that player, and then Voldemort was the one that's going to be the evolution of the club, if you like, the new style of play that Eddie obviously seems to want to do slightly in his head. He just seems to be very slow at doing it. But it all knocked up when Wissa came in, got knackered, and then performed nothing after that, really, did we? For he's never looked like the player that we thought would bought.
No, absolutely not.
And I mean, that I would say probably 90% of people that I talk to have absolutely written Wissa off.
I completely agree.
And I haven't.
Really?
I still think he'll come good.
What you seeing, Win? He's been fit for 4 months. What you seeing in him? I think that he's going to come good.
Well, I don't think he's fit. He's never had a decent run in the team. And for all his goals tally is poor in comparison to the minutes he's played, he's missed probably half a dozen that on a normal day you would expect him to score at least half of. So he's still getting into those positions, and that's what I want a striker to do. Andy Cole, prime example. Fantastic goal scoring record, but fantastic missed record as well. You know, he would have give him 7 chances, he'll score you a hat trick. But he got those 7 chances by his own, by the way he played. That was what created the 7 chances.
The movement. A couple of the players have been knackered by the price tag they've had put on the head. So the likes of Alanga and Wissa, let's face it, neither of them two were £55 million players. They weren't players that you would think you would pay £55 million for. But then they've been brought in at that price. You know, has it played on the head, thinking, hey, you know, was I worth this sort of thing?
How much do you expect to play for a player who's just scored 19?
Well, let's face it. Whistler at the start of the window, we could have gone for 35 million.
Well, 27 was the price. 29,
yeah, but,
was the price that Brentford had agreed he could go for Champions League.
No, but I'm saying if you'd went in at 35 million, you'd have got him for that at the start of the window.
Yeah,
it
but
was just that Brentford had where we're a barrel.
But we're looking for bigger fish at the time. At the time, we were looking for Ekatike to play alongside Isaac. He was the number 1 target, and the deal was all but done till we refused to sell Isaac to Liverpool.
Yeah,
you know,
everything sort of went wrong.
They were all pretty much afterthoughts. You know, well, who can we get? But we were desperate by then, absolutely desperate.
Very much a lack of a lack of forward planning, sort of on that front. And yeah, I think Alanga, when it first happened, I think we sat there. Well, I certainly sat there and went, he ain't 55 million worth, but it's close enough that I'm okay with it. It was 3rd for assists in the Premier League last season, behind Salah and Jacob Murphy, and you know you're playing for the youth as well, so I didn't mind that. But the 55 million for Wissa. I mean, let's be honest. Whoever Bournemouth's director of football is, or whoever negotiated that deal, that's at the top of their CV whenever they go for a job interview. What did I say? Bournemouth. Oh well. That's went well. He's probably gone to Bournemouth. They seem to get like people like that. They get good deals as well. But yeah, so I mean, like they're sitting there whenever they go for a job interview and they're going, "Well, look, I did this. Look, I managed to get these idiots to pay this for yes, a 19 goal a season striker, but also one that, let's be honest, was never going to have an incline for the rest of his career. He was either going to stay level or he was going to decline." So it is a bit of an awkward one. Obviously, we spoke about, but we mentioned Bournemouth, Brentford, and Brighton. One question in there from Wazza, and I'm going to blame this for the reason that I accidentally said Bournemouth. The question is: have Bournemouth, Brentford, and Brighton exhausted the market for bargains? And I think I wouldn't say they've exhausted the market, but what I would say is they've shown everyone how to do it. Don't know if you disagree or agree on that one, but they've all 3 of them absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, I don't know what. Go on, Boaky.
No, I'm just saying brilliantly run clubs. They've just got a model that's perfect for them. I don't think it's a right model for Newcastle, to be honest.
Agreed.
I think it's a model that's brilliant for them.
Why would you say? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying why would you say that their model is different to ours?
Because I don't think we should be selling the players on. I think we should be getting into European positions and, you know, being able to keep hold of the better players and the good players that we get. So I don't think they're running a very different way in regards to they want to make money. I don't think we're a club that wants to particularly make money. We're a club that wants to develop and move forward and get bigger. So I think we whereas they'll sell players on, I think we should keep hold of the players.
It sort of feels for us, we're at a stage where we're trying to buy players maybe 2-3 years before they'll be at their financial peak, and if we do sell them on, fair enough. While Brighton, I mean, you look at some of the players they've got sort of at the disposal on the youth team, they're buying players of, even if they don't make it in 5 years, it's fine because we've spent 10 million on them. And to be honest, I think it's a great way of working. It's certainly worked out for those kind of teams. But when you you want to be chasing for the Champions League every season. I don't think you have that much of a luxury. And we've had the luxury to spend 55 million on Wissa. I know that's exactly what someone is going to say. And that's completely true. But when you sort of look at these younger signings, there's so much more of a risk. And I think you need to get your squad right and consistently at that level before you take those risks. I think Spurs were an example of a team that tried to do it a bit too early, bring in those younger players and push them on, and well, just look at them now. And I think we'll probably, maybe some of our fans would have took their last 2 seasons against ours, maybe with that Europa League win last season, but it's certainly not looking great for them future-wise. What do you think? Is it one of those maybe that you think Newcastle are a few years away from being able to spend 10, 15 million on a younger player?
Well, I think we're already doing that, aren't we?
I'm talking like a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what Federspiel's doing now in Brazil and Argentina, isn't he? According to reports, anyway.
According to reports, but nobody's in the door.
Well, there won't be, yeah, will they? and not least because, for example, one deal that we're told has been actually done, dusted, agreed, and everything cannot happen
until 28, is it?
Until the player's 18 or something.
Yeah, that was I know exactly who you're on about, the 5 million around for that one. I'm more sort of thinking the Ryan deal, one of those, because we look at it now and we think, yeah, that should have been absolutely perfect for us. But in the sort of state Newcastle have been, I'm wondering if they're looking at these 20 million youngsters and going, it's maybe just a bit too much of a risk. We need players who can come in and do the job now, and Ryan's done that. There's plenty of players that will, but it feels like the model's just not really set up for that, and I don't know if you completely disagree.
Sula was 11 million plus add-on.
I think the problem is that we don't have a manager that wants to develop the youth team, and it's been proven this season that that's the case. You know, he doesn't bring youngsters through. He doesn't play the youngsters, and that if you're outside the club looking in, if you're outside the club as a young player looking in at Newcastle United, and you think, oh, I'm a little bit decent, I could have a chance somewhere. Would you come to Newcastle? Would you think Eddie Howe's going to bring us into the team? Because he doesn't. He relies on his tried and tested, and that's his style of management. And there's no issue with that. Sorry, mate.
You would look at Louis Miley, you would look at Asula, you would look at Hall, you would look at Livramento, and see what he's done.
Livramento and Hall are different kettles of fish because they were bought as good players already. Asula, yeah, I agree. He's brought Asula through. Miley to a point, but that was due to necessity rather than want to do. Look at the likes of Anderson, I suppose, is the other side of the coin. Look at the of what was he? Not Mitchell, the young winger.
Look at Anderson.
No, look, what was the young winger called?
Minter.
Yeah, look at them type of players.
Again, that was...
and how he does not develop young players into the team very often. He's not that type of manager.
He just develops him into the England team instead.
So which player do you develop into the England team? If you're going to say
Livramento and Hall
and Anderson, that's absolute bollocks because Anderson would never have got to where he's got if he'd stayed at Newcastle.
I absolutely agree with you there because he wouldn't have got in the team in front of Bruno, Tonali or J7.
That's why we tried to play him sort of in a more advanced role out wide, though, wasn't it? Because he was never going to get that chance in that midfield, and unfortunately, he always stood out in pre-season, but never really translated. And to be fair, one of the topics of the day is obviously the 7 players in that youth system who are going to leave Newcastle. The big one in there, the one that stands out, is Alfie Harrison.
For me, it's Alfie Harrison is the one of them, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously he was signed for a couple of million, was spent a decent amount of money bringing him in. He was considered a brilliant academy prospect. For me, it's going to be really interesting to see where he goes because he's always been touted as one of the better prospects. If he gets to, Bromley, you're looking at it and going, well, if that's the level these under-21s are at, I'm not surprised, but in the winter window, there was rumours that Championship clubs were going to potentially pay to get him ahead of his contract, to guarantee that he would join them. But if Championship clubs are willing to take him, and let's be honest, for the last year, we haven't heard much about him at all, would that be the indication that maybe we're not giving them enough time? Or would you still say Championship isn't Premier League, you wouldn't give him a chance? What do you think, Owen? Because it's a difficult one.
Why would you drag young players through to the first team squad and damage their careers potentially? The likes of Alex Murphy this season, and probably Shaw a little bit, and Neve, they've been in the first team squad quite a bit, so they don't get to play as much football in the under 21s, and that's potentially damaging their career. If you're bringing them into the squad, why not give them a chance at times? Why not play them? Why not chuck them into the first team? Especially Shaw, when Tino got injured, why not put him in as the right back? Why play a left back at right back, a centre back at left back? Why change a full team around when you've actually got somebody on the bench who plays that position naturally and's been in the squad? It doesn't bring
the only
right
logical
trust thing, isn't it?
The only logical answer, well, exactly, it's trust, and the only logical answer is that whoever is involved, whichever player you're talking about, hasn't done sufficient in training and everything else, attitude, whatever, for to be trusted. Now, the counter argument to that, of course, is, well, if he hasn't, what's he doing on the bench? So they've obviously done sufficient to be on the bench, but not trusted. So yeah, you got to.
But if that's the case, bring another youngster through. If that youngster's not doing it right or not going to progress, bring another youngster through from the reserve team. You've got to give people a chance. You know what it's like in football. Sometimes, players play in like lesser teams and look crap, and then all of a sudden they come into the first team. You think, oh, they're not actually too bad. So you've got to give them a chance.
I'm not going to sit here and defend Eddie's lack of use of the youngsters, other than the fact that I don't think he's stupid. And if he isn't stupid, why wouldn't he have done if there wasn't an overriding reason for him not to? That's just me, pure logic, nothing to do with football. If we've had these injury crises, and he hasn't deemed it necessary, fit, useful, helpful, but to do that, there's got to be a reason for it.
But it's not even the crises that we've had. Karabag in the Cup, when we were so far in front, why the hell didn't he play a couple of youngsters in that game?
Oh, absolutely.
Come on. Yeah. There's no excuse for that for anyone.
I mean, in that game, he could have started team half full of youngsters, with experienced players on the bench, just in case it got squeaky bum time and they went 3-0 up or something like that. Then you go, hang on a minute, you've had your chance, kids. Time for the grown-ups to take over.
Yeah, I think the thing with Alex Murphy for me is obviously we've got young Rory Finneran, who's been called up to the full Republic of Ireland squad. And for some reason, I had in my head that Alex Murphy had just been called up. But I've just looked for it and I can't find it anywhere. So I've dreamt that, apparently.
Is Murphy not Northern Irish?
Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland. Has he not been called up?
No, I thought he had, to be honest, because I was reading about Rory Finneran getting called up, but no, Alex Murphy obviously hasn't. And
he definitely has been called up at some point, because I remember him being in that being.
I thought that as well.
Yeah.
But I think it maybe says a lot about Alex Murphy, the fact that he's not made an appearance for Republic of Ireland and Rory Finneran has. Now, what you could say is this Rory Finneran in our youth system could go on to be absolutely fantastic at an absolutely different club, and that's maybe the reason why. But you're looking at sort of the national level, and I'll be honest, I don't know who plays for Republic of Ireland in defence, centre back or left back anymore, if I'm completely honest. But I can't imagine it's the squad is full of quality, should we say? I mean, in the latest game, they just decided to field 6 less substitutes than their opposition, and Alex Murphy still isn't getting called up. So I'm sort of the opinion that him being one of our highest rated is probably a really big concern, because you've got one of your 21 years old best youth prospects can't even get called up for Republic of Ireland when there's players you've never even heard before getting into the starting lineup, and it is a worry. But maybe that's just a sign that maybe they're not as good as what we expect. But
I think it's a sign that our youth system, our academy, in the under 21 levels, the nearest level to first team, because of the way the academy's been run for years, that's the level that's not good enough. We're now seeing that everything coming after that is doing really, really well, winning trophies left, right, and centre. But are 16 and 17-year-olds ready to be first teamers?
No.
Probably not. You'll always get everybody will say, well, what about Dawson? What about the young kid at Liverpool? But they are few and far between.
Oh, they are. Let's be honest. Go on, Matt.
The person that watches the most under 21 football, I think, on the channel is Gary. And Gary's always said our current under 21s aren't good enough. He said that the lower down the system you get, the more likely the players are that we've brought in that since obviously the takeover to get to that level. But he watches a lot of that football and he'll constantly see it's just not good enough. The players just aren't good enough.
Yeah. A player who's capable of doing something in the Prem, for me, should shine in his own age group. He should look on a different planet to them. And by all accounts, we haven't got anybody who does that. I don't think that's always
the case, though, Win. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's always the case. I think sometimes once you start playing with better players, you're a better player. So I think there are players that need to get a chance to prove that they are that better player.
I think it's a good 50-50, isn't it? You look at sort of Max Daum and Rio Ngamoa. Those are two players that, from I think 10 years old, they've been touted through their academies as the sort of the next big things. I know Rio was at Chelsea beforehand, and Liverpool managed to pry him away. Daum, I heard Arsenal fans talking about a couple of years back, when he was 14 or something. So it comes as no surprise that some of them are, but you also get players who maybe like a Sean Longstaff, who, let's be honest, and I know Sean Longstaff isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, let's be honest, but one of the best academy prospects we've had in a very long time. And until he got that shot in the first team, everyone was saying, "Oh, Matty's the better player." I distinctly remember that until I think it was
last. I think Matty was the better player.
I think Toronto now might disagree. I don't know if they've got rid of him or not now. I actually haven't kept track, but hopefully he's doing well wherever he is. But yeah, it's
training with Newcastle, wasn't he? I think.
Was he? So he definitely hasn't lasted at the MLS.
I may be wrong, but I'm sure he was back training over here.
I think he came for some treatment, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was traded to CF Montreal in exchange for a player I'm not going to try and pronounce, and up to 275,000 in general allocation money. So I can't say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's probably tallies up to over 500k, which is more than what we get for most of our youngsters. So fair play to him. He's getting a career out in the MLS, so he's doing pretty well for himself.
Having a ball by all social media accounts.
Yeah, he's loving his soccer as well. But yeah, for me, it's, we look at this academy and, you're completely right, Win. In a few years' time, we'll be looking at the 16, 17-year-olds who are now, your 19s and your 20s, and we'll see if they're good enough or they're ready enough.
You know what the sad thing is then? That let's say by then we have a different manager.
They'll be playing for Brighton.
Who because the youngsters that he's got to bring through and put on the bench are so much better than there was then it'll be, you see, this is what happens when you bring young'uns through. Nothing to do with the actual calibre of the young'uns involved, just because they happen to be young'uns.
But I think the breaking news of the day win proves that that's slightly wrong as well. I mean, Kevin Keegan never ever brought youngsters through, did he? Like, really, he never brought a lot of youngsters into that first team.
No,
So the players actually that were playing, Steve Watson, Clarkey, and Elliott, had already probably made the Premier League debuts. Not Premier League, the Newcastle debuts. Well. Yeah,
I mean, we had the youngest back four ever in the Prem when we had Elliott. Who was it? Elliott, Watson. Oh, Matty Appleby, was it? And Howie. There's a back four.
Before my time.
back four. Average age was something like 19 and a half.
Yeah. Oof. But as I say, Keegan wasn't new for bringing youngsters through. So I think any manager, it depends on what stage you're at as a football club, doesn't it? That's the big thing of it.
Yeah, I remember growing up with the mentality of you'll never win anything with kids. They're sort of being plastered throughout the early 2000s. So
Fergie blew into touch.
Was that Alan Hansen that said that? Was it on Match of the Day?
You'll never win out with kids, but when you've got the calibre of kids of Beckham, Giggs, Butt, Scholes, and the two Neville brothers, all future internationals. The point is, you'll never ever get that again coming through.
I'd love to know what was in the water in 1991, because the class of '92 at both Man United and in the snooker, the players that brought through was friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
I'll need some names for the snooker. I know the Man United, but the snooker.
Oh well,
Higgins, Williams, and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yeah.
There's some pretty decent names in there then. Lovely stuff. So, we spoke about the Academy, 1982, brilliant. Maybe we'll have to wait till 2032 for Newcastle's. We might be the best club in the world by then. But, obviously...
30, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. Also, for those talking, I've seen people talking about the Sweden game just before Anthony Elanga. 45-minute cameo for Sweden in a 3-1 loss to Norway. I've seen many people saying he got taken off at half-time. Yes, he did, but alongside like 6 other players. So you'd imagine in a friendly it was a planned substitution. They were 3-0 down, so he can't have played well. But I imagine it wasn't great. And we'll not talk about who scored in that game for Sweden.
He'll probably have played too many games this season, won't he?
Too many minutes in the leg. But on the topic of wingers, obviously there's been a man that's left Newcastle United with a 600-day Duolingo streak. Anthony Gordon, perfect Spanish, perfect Catalonian. I wasn't annoyed about it until I heard him speak. But one of the things that I've been watching over this week, YouTube channel, Coach Moroni's called, and it's a sort of a game of two halves is the channel, and he was just talking about Newcastle United, the Newcastle United attack, and how the part of the answer might already be in the squad. And the question I'm eventually going to get to before I go through this, or when I go through this, is: do Newcastle actually need to sign a left winger, or are the players that we've got in there good enough that we can potentially just focus on bringing in a right winger? So I'm going to share my screen here. You'll just have to give me one moment because I'm an absolute technophobe, if you couldn't tell, despite looking so young. Right, there we are. Obviously, that was a joke. Right. So, a game of two halves. And to be fair, if you haven't checked out any of his content, all Newcastle based. I actually really enjoy it. That's a plug. Hopefully, he gives us one as well. But basically, the Anthony Gordon replacement isn't a new left winger. It might actually be Newcastle completely changing how we attack. As you can see, the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1. And don't pay attention to the amount of tabs that I have at the top there. But in 4-3-3, if we're going to remain playing with that next season, the idea is we'd probably bring in a new touchline left winger. Keep the width, carry Newcastle up the pitch, runs in behind, presses aggressively, and has one-on-one ability. Says better than Gordon, but I think that's probably very hard to find. I think we'd all agree Anthony Gordon did all those attributes for Newcastle very, very well. Great presser, got in behind brilliantly and carried Newcastle up the pitch. Does have Harvey Barnes as a right wing, which is the only thing I don't really agree with here, but it's how he was playing before. So if Newcastle transitioned into the 4-2-3-1, the profile would change completely. You'd have an attacking midfielder type profile, as shown here. So you would have, see if I can zoom in a bit closer. Happy days. So you'd have, obviously, we'd like to see some new signings in there as well. But the player on the right, bit more of the wider threat. Your new left midfielder would be almost a Ramsey style profile, an attacking midfielder alongside Voltemada, where you'd almost play with 2 10s in behind the striker. Just to give a little bit more creativity, and you'd rely on Hall and Livramento for the wings there. Drifting in from left midfield, more central creativity and less pure transition threat than what we have with Anthony Gordon, because that's what we have in abundance with what we had in abundance with Gordon. He did provide that kind of threat. Or if we were to go with the alternate option in a 4-2-3-1, an inside forward, plays a little closer to the striker, attacks the box, replaces the goal scoring output. It sounds very much like someone we already have, playing in that a bit more advanced role, cutting inside, scores goals for fun. Could be Harvey Barnes. So the question with that, if we do persist with the 4-2-3-1, do we necessarily need a new left winger? Because we have two with profiles. If you're going to play more of an inside, you've got Jacob Ramsey as an attacking player, played more of a left mid at Aston Villa. You've also got Harvey Barnes, great inside sort of forward. Not going to get down to the byline, but he does what he does well. Is it a case of focusing on the right wing more than we do? Well, we need to focus on the right wing more than the left wing with that Gordon money. What do we think?
There are two elements to that. I certainly do not think that left wing is a priority in the upcoming transfer market, because we've got Harvey Barnes already, and we've got J7 and Willock and Ramsey who can all function in that area. Not to mention Park Sung-soo, who, we don't know yet what's going to happen with him. So for me, it is definitely not a priority. However, I do think right wing is a priority. And the problem there is that if you go and buy a new right winger, you're automatically then, effectively saying Elanga's been a failure and we need to get shot and we need to take a sizable hit, I would think, to get rid of Elanga. So should you give it one last try to see if we can get something out of Elanga? Is he ever going to make it here? Do we just cut our losses and do that? Because we do need one quality winger, I think. I'm not averse to Barnes playing on the right if we want to buy a left winger. But I also like 4-2-3-1.
I disagree slightly with Win on this in regards to, I think we need a left-footed left winger. Somebody who can actually play a left wing the players we've got, there's not. If correct us if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a single player that we would class as a winger who had a left foot this season for us. Who played in the first team.
No.
I think we need a left-footed left winger, and it gives you so many more options. You can have them bombing down the wings on each side, the left winger on the left side, the right winger on the right side, and putting crosses in. And if that's not working, you switch them over, and then they can cut inside and have shots. On both sides. I just think we need. I know it's a rarity nowadays, but you need a left-footed left winger.
Would that be the priority for you?
If forward positions, yes, because I don't see we're getting another striker. Let's face it, we spent the majority of our money last season on new strikers. You've got to try to make them 2 work, or 3 work, if you like, with Sula in. You've got Murphy and Alanga right wing. Murphy's been crap, but I suppose you have to say. So we need so many defenders that you've got to keep your front line pretty much the same. So I think up front, the one position that you need to get somebody in is left wing, and for me, you need a left-footed winger, and then the rest of your time gets spent on a new keeper, a new right back, a new left back, and potentially 2 new centre backs.
So obviously, with that, I'll just go on to the 2 new centre backs there. The news today is that Newcastle are very hopeful Fabian Schär extends his contract for 1 more season. Is that something you'd be aptly against?
No,
Yes.
one season I've got no problem with.
I do. You've got Byrne there, who's the older centre back. You need to start getting younger players in. What we're proving is that if you're a squad just constantly aging, then it knacks you up. So for me, I think, sure, again, it's an Eddie Howe type of thing to keep a player. He's been out for the majority of the season. And, is he going to come back the same player? Would you be better off getting 2 youngsters in and getting rid of Shaw? I think you probably would.
Are we going to have the cash to do that, though, with this season? That's my only thing. Was that in there before we get to that bit? I can't see Eddie Howe taking any more chances. It'll be more of the same. And to be honest, I'd be inclined to agree if we didn't.
The way I was reading that was I can't see Eddie chancing more of the same.
Who's the bloke crossing his arms? Is that Chris?
Eddie.
Is it Eddie Howe? All right.
I can't see Chris taking any more chances with Michael. Like, he's going to get...
I thought you was talking about win.
Yeah, it is one of those, isn't it? Because you do look at Byrne and you do look at Schär and you think they are potentially too old. But for me, I actually think we've got so many places we need to sign players. I don't mind Fabian Schär staying for 1 more season, but I would have loved to have seen a young centre-back come in at the same time. It all just depends on what we've got the money for, obviously.
We still need another centre-back if Schär stays or not, don't we?
I think we should be signing a new centre-half, but that doesn't mean I think we shouldn't be giving Schär a year. What's he on? 100 grand a week, let's say. So it's going to cost you 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you're better off giving Schär a year at 5 million than signing a hopefully adequate centre-half for 25 or 30 million.
We've been heavily linked with...
Back the same player? Do you think Schär will come back the same player?
I don't know. That's the big worry.
That's
the big worry. I think I would make him prove himself before I give him the new contract.
Get him doing the bleep test from one end of the room to the other.
Fabian Schär certainly doesn't owe us anything.
Oh, no. I'm not saying Scher's not been a great player for that. That's certainly never anything I would say. He's been absolutely fantastic. But I just think his time's coming to an end. He's that age.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And for me, I'm looking at those two centre backs, Burn and Cher, and I think because of Cher's injury worry, same with Botman, you can't go in. I mean, you've both already said this. You need a fifth centre back in there because you can't go into a, even if it is a reduced game season for us in comparison to last, you can't go in with just four centre backs in there. Even though, you know, Alex Murphy probably this season has probably played more than Lascelles and Kraft the season before combined. But it is an awkward one because you know you're just one injury away from an absolute nightmare. And then we got one in there. Was that Palestri can play both right back and centre half. So there's plenty of players out there obviously that can do that. Chow's got the sort of reverse. He can play centre back, has played right back earlier in his career. There's a reason they transitioned him to a centre back, so let's hope he doesn't get put back into that right back position. But just some of the chats we've got in there as well. You in there saying it's 4-3-3 next season. How's bread and butter? Press and out of possession football. As I was saying before, I'd be all behind that, but. To be honest, one game a week it might work. It might work again.
But it always
for one game a week, yeah.
For the last 8 games at the end of the season, has it? The last 7 games at the end of the season, it hasn't worked. Your magnificent 7, it didn't work.
What pressing we were doing in that period? We weren't playing his normal pressing.
So why weren't we?
I don't know. All I can think of is that it's instructions from above, from Mr. Bunsen.
Oh, come on, Win. You're a manager. You pick the team and you pick how you're going to play.
Yeah,
you listen to other people around you, but at the end of the day, it's your choice.
But because even without playing pressing, it's not like we've escaped injuries through not playing it. And all I know is the best football we saw was when we did it. When we were the fittest team on the planet. We were pressing for 90 minutes, and the football was exhilarating and exciting, and we went forward. None of this tippy-tappy pendulum nonsense. And if that knocks the players, so be it. Get a bigger squad.
But that's the problem is with that whole argument. We had the bigger squad this season. If he'd rotated, you could still have played that formation type of football.
But we didn't have the players then.
But we did.
I guess there's a one in there as well, by the way, just saying we're aiming for top 10 this new season. Now, I don't think that's the case. I'm fairly certain we've always been told, well, Howe has always been told it's Europe or bust. He hasn't got it twice. I think the day that I think the days that we come out and say we're happy with top 10 is the day where it's the days that we turn around and say, yeah, it's not gone very well, has it? A lot of people in there. There's a debate over John Stones. Get John Stones and another centre-back. Let Shaw leave, says GTA Filler. RSL coming back and saying Stones would have an immense wages. I also think he'd be a bit too... You know what the thing is? I've said on this channel before, I think he'll end up at Bayern Munich. And that's for his quality. But much like the Mourinho scenario where I said, he wouldn't work for us, he will work at Real Madrid because it's about handling egos rather than the old tactical play. I think Stones wouldn't work that well for us, but he would work brilliantly at a team like Bayern Munich, etc., because the quality is still there. Geordie J up in Edinburgh saying, please no more extensions over 30.
I mean, listen, that's a perfectly reasonable argument to take because we've suffered from it historically, financially. You know, you could argue the likes of Trips leaving now on a free and Callum leaving on a free. You know, there's loads of them.
Do you think at the ages there's an argument to be made to get rid of J7 and Murphy this season?
Oh, absolutely. I think
if you could get a
A decent pay out for them.
Reasonable offer. But I wouldn't consider selling J7 for less than, I don't know, 50 million. And would you get
50
somebody to
million?
pay 50? Oh yeah.
No.
But you're not gonna buy a replacement for less than that.
I
But
think
you've got to remember when you're buying a younger player, so you're not going to get somebody in the same class now, but you use that money to buy a younger player.
Yeah, but it's this season we've got to do stuff. It's now we've got to do some. You know, if you're saying we're just planning for the future, you never get anywhere. You've got to do it this season.
That's a good point from Brian in the chat there that we haven't covered. Is Milner getting retiring? Great
Yeah.
player for Newcastle. Absolutely brilliant player.
there was a chat I starred earlier actually because I wanted to get to it. Cuff was in there saying, interesting fact, chaps. James Milner retiring means that 2026-27 will be the first English top flight season since 56-57 that does not feature a single player who played with or under Sir Bobby Robson. Now, I haven't had the chance to fact check that, but if that is correct,
That's very interesting.
that it would be an absolutely
That shows we're getting
incredible.
old.
But you got to think, Bobby Robson left in 2004, didn't he? That was 22 years ago.
Well, it's Bobby Robson that signed Milner for us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's going to be the case. It's like saying there's, well, because Keegan came back for a second term, there might be some still playing in the Premier League. But if he hadn't came back, it would be the same for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, certainly close. So, to be fair, just with that, there we go. Another super chat in there as well. Was a once again, thank you very much, buddy. If we go press, we need legs, no over 25s then.
Where does this 25 business come from, man?
Also over 25s can still put in a shift. I know I don't look like it, but Jesus.
No, but everybody seems to think over 25, you're knackered. You're not, man. You're in your prime at 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, but that's the big problem, Win, is that you're right. You are, but it's also the time that you can get the peak money for players. So, it depends what we're trying to do. If we're trying to get money in to buy new players, the best thing to do is have 25s and unders, get them to that age, and then sell them on.
But is that what we are doing? Because if that's what we are doing, that's not what I saw on the brochure.
There doesn't seem to be a strategy, does there?
That's not what I saw on the brochure. I thought we should be in the business. If we want to be number one by 2030, we should be in the business of buying players when they're 28, 29 and in their prime.
That's different. Well, we've seen the problems with that last season, didn't we?
Well,
look at the 29-year-old that was signed last season.
Yeah, well, you keep on going back. Wissa got an injury for the first time in his career. And it wasn't a muscle injury or a growing old injury. It was a bloody skeletal injury, which he'd never had any experience of recovering from. Because he'd never been, specifically, seriously injured in the past. And it's taken him, because he's 29, naturally, it's taken him longer to get the full peak match fitness. So, it's nonsense, that.
I think a lot of it
Why would anybody be wanting to sign for big money Bruno now? Because he's quality. Because he's absolute quality. He's at the top of his game.
But a club like us can't afford to go out and pay £55 million for a 29-year-old flop. That's the top and bottom of it.
Well, you're calling him a flop. Last season was a flop, certainly.
Yeah, hopefully that changes, and there's a lot in there. To be honest, I get the point, and it feels like that's the negative that all the PSR, etc. is brought into it. Everything we talk about now has money at the forefront, and unfortunately that is just how clubs are running. I'm sure it was exactly the same in the 90s and the 2000s. I think the general public were maybe just less aware of it. I don't know, I was at Ben. I could be chatting nonsense, but it feels like that way. It feels like something has changed in the dynamic with the Manchester City and the Chelsea, even though, not it's happened before that, really, let's be honest.
Same, you never had this sort of financial fair play or any of that crap beforehand, did you? If you bought a flop, you could go out. You never did. You could, if you bought a flop, you could go out and buy another player. There was no issue with it. There was no money in issues or anything like that. You could just, keep spending on players. That's how Blackburn. Look at Blackburn winning the Premier League. That's how they did it.
Just out of interest, because I didn't know off the top of my head what these figures were. So just out of interest, I went and looked at Les Ferdinand. How old was Les Ferdinand when we bought him?
28?
29.
29?
Well, it could be 28 or 29. Born 66, and we signed him in 95. So,
but it was a different era then, Win. As I've just said, you could cover your losses. You could keep buying.
It's because in those days we were the top of the tree as far as buying went. We were paying top dollar
as well.
For quality ready-made players.
Are we going to compare? If you want to sit here and compare Sir Les to Wissa, I'll do that with you all day, any day. Come on, Les Ferdinand. The king of the hill, power headers. Scoring goals. How many goals? Hang on.
Ginola, 67, 95, 28.
You're doing your research. How many goals did Les Ferdinand, in which case, score in his first season for Newcastle? At that age, at the same age as Wissa?
Top of my head, 20-odd.
25.
There you go. There's the difference.
Yeah, because you played every game.
37 games, 25 goals, 29 in all comps in 44 games. But to be fair, I would say with that as well, I know we've got your your Danny Welbecks, etc., who are still doing it at 35, 36, but you wouldn't see I remember growing up, Dwight York was playing in the Premier League really late. Teddy Sheringham was still West Ham in his 40s. I don't think you can see that in the modern game now, and a large part of that is probably down to that sort of athleticism, but I think a large part of it as well is probably down to FFP, these players that if teams can get rid of them, they'll just go, yeah, you know what, we can get the money in for you and we'll do it.
When Win was in his youth, Stanley Matthews was playing, wasn't he? And he was in his, I think he played till about 56. And that's not kidding. I think he really did play that late in life.
I don't, Stanley Matthews, 50. When you're looking at the wrong brochure, not the whatever that is, I don't know. But thank you for the super chat, was.
With you saying you hadn't got the right brochure before, I'm going to assume it's linked in with that. And obviously, some people jumping on there. Joe Linton, 50 million for Joe Linton, FFS man. Get really, he has 2 years left of his contract, and he's 29. I would take 30 million in a heartbeat. I'd seen some in there earlier. One Lion, 35 million. Lee NUFC, good to see you, buddy. Would be 40 million max we get for Big Joe.
If we got 40 million, we're getting our money back.
Yeah.
But he's Brazilian and he costs 40 million,
So
they say. But yeah, it's.
Do you think he ever did cost 40 million?
Only cost 40 million.
No. Do you ever think he did cost 40 million, or do you think that was a bit of bullshit from Ashley's team at the time?
I think it was in the books, so it would have had to. Although I don't know, because it was private books, and
Yeah, you never know, but it seemed very strange, didn't it? The man that would very rarely put his hand in his pocket for that kind of signing. If we went down, obviously he was, he knew the cost it would be for it to stay there. So he's more than happy to put his. Yeah, when we're in the Premier League, we paid Weatherspoon's prices, but all of a sudden, when we got in the Championship, he's more than happy to dine out at Champagne 360 or whatever, where there was prices 15 million for Richie, was it? Same with Gale. I mean, to be fair, I love both those players, so I can't argue. But one of the things I wanted to
Richie is one of the most intelligent footballers I've ever seen. Absolute quality player.
To be fair, I do agree. He didn't really have any physical attributes, did he? But he was always in good areas and always had a brain.
Fantastic. A bit like Trips. Could kill a ball dead straight away, and knew what he was going to do with it when he'd done so.
Absolutely. And just wanted to finish off on a topic on, let's be honest, this next month for Newcastle fans, it's the transfer windows. We're going to get a lot of rumours, we're going to have a lot of stories, and I think a lot of people are going to get carried away. But I just want to ask you, do you think the World Cup is going to change things for Newcastle? Because we've sold Anthony Gordon, we've got the money coming in, but the transfer window doesn't officially open, of course, until the World Cup has started. If you're a selling club, what benefit do you get from selling your player before the tournament? Let's say you're Real Betis and you've got that Moroccan winger, Abdi Ezazou. You took the words right out of me mouth. Ezzy. And he goes on to have an absolutely brilliant World Cup. His value explodes. The worst thing that could possibly happen for them is he gets injured. Right, they've got him for another season, so they're not going to be too bothered about that. Well, these players that Newcastle are going to be after, most of them are going to be at the World Cup. Are teams actually going to want to sell in the next 10 days? Surely it makes more sense for them to wait till after the World Cup, and I think we're going to suffer because of that. But can you see any other reasons why a team might want to sell early?
Could be a double-edged sword, couldn't it? Look at Wissa. He could get crocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think when you're that quality, they're looking to potentially sell the player for 60 million.
Do you think if Wissa had done his injury with the Congo before we signed him, do you think we would have signed him with a broken leg?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
No.
But I think most of the players we're after now don't fit that Wissa profile, I would say, of 29. I think we're going to go for your 23s, 24s, where even in 2 years' time, they'd probably still have that sell-on value. So for me, I think it's going to be weeks, potentially, until we sign someone.
I think probably before we sign anybody of note, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was that in again?
Well,
he hasn't wrote a book, though.
Yeah, get your hands on Wynn's new book. I'm not going to shill it. Gavin in there saying, well, we didn't wait to sell Gordon. Yes, but at the same time, Gordon didn't play any of the last, 7-8 games for us, and it was very much established that he was going to be leaving. I think most of these clubs, they'll want to be keeping a hold of these players. It feels like Newcastle have sort of had an agreement with Gordon. We've gone, look, you want to go, that's fine by us. We get the money in that we want. You get the move that you want. I think a lot of these teams, let's be honest, real bettors probably aren't going to be doing that. Particularly when they know they could get an extra 20 million. Let's look, you look at James Rodriguez. I'd say all the way back to Philippe Albert going from Anderlecht to Newcastle. He had a brilliant tournament 94 with Belgium. Ended up signing for Newcastle. Absolutely fantastic career he went on to have. But you'll always get more money because of that in the transfers. And if he gets injured, you've got a really high quality player for another season. So I think with that logic, I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be holding out, and Newcastle United might get a bit tense around the fan base until the end of the World Cup, in my personal opinion.
I think the point of the coin is that we might be saying players that are playing at the World Cup. For scouting other leagues, there might be players out there that won't be playing at the World Cup.
There's always the potential.
That's an interesting point, though. But do you think we should be looking at players who, unless they're French or German or Spanish or Italian, do you think we should be looking at, for example, a Congo player who was in the Congo World Cup squad? You know, even if they are
Oh,
23, 24.
No,
If the country they represent is in the World Cup, then, you know, they should be in that. If we are interested in them, they should be in that squad, surely. Unless they're one of the big nations, you know.
Mentality of, if they're good enough for us, they should be good enough for their country.
Exactly.
I suppose the big argument with that is Hall, isn't it?
There you go.
In that decision, though. That's not due to quality. Hall should be there. But hey, what do you expect? You put a German in there, he's gonna take all the numpties. Come on, man. Churchill rolling over in his grave, man.
So sorry, Redknapp, if you saw the comments he made about him.
Love it.
Right, there you go.
There you go, ladies and gents. Well, the late night show will start. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Boaky, Iain, and who else is coming on tonight? Somebody else should be coming on. But either way, you doing well, Michael?
Yes.
You good?
Yeah, a lot better, mate. Thank you very much. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I know you were sick last week, so making sure all was good. All was good. Bug is killing, man. I still got a lingering cough for like 2 months ago. So it is unbelievable. Anyway, but thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Boaky. Have a good one. The late night show starts right. Where's my intro? Now.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek the Matey West, and the rest of the panel, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
Boom, 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 boom. Iain knackered as usual. King Kev is in the house. We got news on King Kev this morning, man. This morning for me, afternoon for you guys. Yeah, some. Did you guys touch on that on the early night show?
No, left it for you.
And by the way, apparently people weren't supposed to report it, but look, you go into a public event. I mean, it's just the way it's gonna work. There's no way around it. But I think King K wanted to update fans on what's going on in his own witty way of doing things, and to say the least. I mean, every time you hear cancer is not good. Every time you hear stage 4 cancer, it's very tough, very tough. So, but you know, and I think one thing is good is that I don't know what he talked about, what it was about, or what was going on there. But the fact of the matter is, the main headlines were going to be about what he said. He brought it up. He said it, and. So I think that he's starting to loosen up about his hard, stern way of, I don't want no celebrations or no, stuff like that. He's always been like that, as far as I can tell. But, he's starting to soften up a little bit, maybe because, it wouldn't be a bad idea. So we can open up with that, of course. And then we got all the news to talk about, so you got to get on with it. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, help the channel out, super chat if you got, if you can. Join us on the World Cup prediction tournament. Join us on that one. Win, you haven't signed up yet, man. What's wrong? You that cheap? You ain't got 10 quid? Fuck me, man. It's criminal, man. Come on. I'm putting you on the spot. You ain't got 10 quid? I'll loan you 10 quid, man. Don't worry about it.
I could just about manage 10 quid, but I just don't like the format. I don't like the setup.
What is the setup, man? You have to predict. Stop being old school.
Too many games.
You can't. It's not fair for people to just predict the games you want. So they have to predict every World Cup game. Kevin, Iain, come on, man.
Game.
I'll send you a tenner whenever.
How do you determine the easy, hard games? How do you determine that, man? You don't determine that.
Right. So yeah,
I think the winner of this competition is going to be the person who spots the major shocks in the.
Exactly,
You've got to be there when Panama have drawn with England.
Why? I'm all for that one. He slid that in, by the way. He slid that in. You didn't have to do that, man.
But when Senegal beat France,
That was an example. It was an
and
example.
and let me tell you something. That's what makes this special because everybody is on the same boat. Nobody's watching
Absolutely.
unless you're Congolese. Nobody's watching Congo. Nobody's or you're a Newcastle fan, one or the other. Nobody's watching Japan. I'm sure Japan made it. I mean, I know North Korea didn't make it, but
Japan's in.
Japan said nobody got that joke. Come on, man. South Korea's in, I'm sure. But again, is Russia to be in there? Probably not, is it? No. And nobody's watching them. I know a lot about South American football, so I'll do decent there. I know America, we're about to win the whole thing. So, I know, and I have ties in Spain. So that Spain's always, because, I got ties with Barcelona in my ancestry. So, I know a few things there. But everybody's on the same boat. Nobody knows what's going on, man. So stop being throwing your toys out the prom and just sign up, man. Sign up.
Stop being a wet blanket, Win. Stop being
Exactly.
A wet blanket.
There you go.
Join
There
in.
you go. And by the way, I have sent everybody the link and the code to sign up. That's
Could be
paid
the only
already.
interest you've got in a lot of these games.
Exactly. And so, hey, look, man. Right now, I think about 10 people signed, or 12 or 13 or so. 13, I think. So there you go. That's already what? 130 quid. Come on, baby. Come on. That's one hell of a return on investment. Come on. Stop buying Wynn's cheap book. That makes no sense.
There's one for sale. I'm waiting for book sales to get me tenner, and then it's off the Benidorm. You could be right there, kid.
There you go. The link is in the chat. It is pinned now. You can send in your £10 via PayPal or other payment methods you have. And make sure you put your email in there because I've already emailed the ones that I need to email to get in the tournament. And WhatsApp the ones that I got the WhatsApp for. So there you go. Join us on the World Cup prediction tournament, ladies and gents. Man, the U.S. win it, man. We should add a way to, like, if it's probable or not, like, how they do it, like the bookies. If it's not really probable that's going to happen, you get more money. We should find a way to, because if the U.S. wins it, oh my God, I'm telling you, man, it would be. We got a chance than y'all do.
I think the US are currently 200 to 1, aren't they?
I don't know.
For those of you who don't understand betting, what it means is if you put £10 on the USA to win the World Cup, you lose £10.
£10, yeah. To be fair, Trump could pay some officials.
You see what I'm saying? It's already started. It's already starting, man.
You wouldn't put it past Trump.
It's already starting, man. Trump ain't got nowhere near. Trump ain't got nowhere near the power that the king has. The king came over. You know how they do the numpties in the U.S. do the numpties in the U.S. do no king protest. But when the King of England came over here, they were all hailing at him. So it makes no sense. But that's the power that the king has, baby.
King doesn't make any decisions.
Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you.
Don't fully know.
I love it, man. Love it. But listen, I want a little bit. Let's get a little bit serious on this one. King Kev. I mean, the proper one, not the dodgy one we got on the show. It's unfortunate, but what else can we say? It's a sad thing. I'm sure he's gonna go down fighting if he goes down. Obviously, miracles can always happen.
I've got the full spectrum on the day. King Kev, Supermac, and the Mighty Win.
There you go.
All the dodgy ones.
I'd like to have seen all them play together. Wow.
And
hell of a front, hell of a front three, that Win. Hell of a front three. Come
on, man. And the second in the Peruvian Toon legend, man, aside from Novi Solano, we're in there, baby. We're in there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I say on my video, it's what else can
I
do.
think if it's what he wants and judging by the court, which is, doing the rounds, I need to say a proper goodbye. That should be arranged as soon as possible. It should be an open stadium, no tickets, no nothing, open turnstiles, first come, first served for the best seats. There'll be far more there than can get in the ground, so there should be big screens in the car park and the Milburn stand with whatever they're going to show. And there should be a highlight reel of the football that were played both when he was a player and when he was the manager.
Yeah.
And I think it would be one hell of a day.
Yeah, he's he wanted to say what he said, obviously, and
Pete Graves did tweet, though, didn't he? Pete Graves did say that obviously it's been taken slightly out of context in terms of. I can't find it. I've been looking for it. Somebody needs to find the tweet and kind of get it on screen if possible. It might have been a statement on Instagram or something. But Pete Graves literally said that, like, yeah, obviously stage 4 doesn't mean anything good, but he genuinely feels like Keegan's still fighting and he's still going. He's, it's not anything like immediate. So Pete Graves has kind of updated people because obviously he was the one hosting. And just to add, I think Wim was at the same thing as me a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago, when Eddie Howe came on stage with an evening with Kevin Keegan. And Keegan said he wouldn't come back to Newcastle until they won a trophy. That was before they won the Carabao Cup.
Oh, well,
obviously, yeah, you were there, yeah. So we had that conversation on stage, and we were told as well, no phones, because when I was there, it was very strict in terms of don't get your phone out. You're here to listen to Keegan and Howe. And pretty much Howe said he was obviously trying his best to win a trophy. He did win a trophy. Then it was planned for Keegan to come back, but obviously we didn't know all of this was going on behind the scenes because we had an actual war flags display for Keegan, which wasn't used on the original game against Liverpool, but then was used, I think, the next season. So this has been, we've been trying to plan it for a while. Obviously, it's been complicated behind the scenes. None of us kind of knew any of the detail. But and I also read that apparently Keegan's already organised before this even came out for like a pre-show, a pre-kickoff kind of interview at the first home game of next season. So again, I know that's been coming out recently. But I think we should do a Newcastle v Liverpool Legends game with obviously in honour of Keegan, because Keegan's a massive part of Liverpool. You're never going to hide that. We would never hide that.
And by the way,
Liverpool Legends against Newcastle Legends. One leg at St James's, one leg at Anfield. So 2 legs, Legends match. That would be massive.
Are you talking about like a pre-season one?
Just like a Legends match. So like any of
the has to be pre-season.
Like Gerard can play. Bring back Liverpool. Bring back the Newcastle Legends. Try and get Solano. Play for Keegan, but.
People don't think about it, but he managed Man City 4 years, and he's pretty liked over there. So
got him promoted, didn't he? He did well at Fulham as well.
Yeah, but I'm talking about proper club, man.
Man City back then weren't a proper club. Man City back then were.
They won the Premier League before, so
Man City back then.
I'm sure Fulham did too. The cottage cheese. When did they invent cottage cheese? Come on, man. How you gonna name your stadium after cottage, man? Cottage cheese, man.
Fake news, fake news.
I think that's fake news. But no, I mean, Ian, what do you think about King Kev in the what's going on? I mean, obviously what's going around.
Well, I mean, it's devastating news, isn't it?
It's
devastating news. It's a devastating news that affects millions of people every day. So, I mean, you know, he's at one with these people there. I wish we could do something. I like the idea of Kev's Legends match. I think there'd be a great turnout to raise a lot of money for cancer charities if that's what they wanted to do as well. But yeah, I mean, Keegan's on my Mount Rushmore. He was when he was a player, but when he was manager, those were
halcyon days.
Those were the days.
Those 2 or 3 seasons with Keegan and the Entertainers was the best. It was the best time I watched Newcastle, and I've watched it for a long time.
Yeah, and some old twats forget about that. You know, they give everybody a king title now, but King Kevin's a proper.
Absolutely the best times up until 22-23.
Oh, see, of course. You had to bring it to Eddie Howe, and he has nothing to do with the conversation. But you know, cheers, man.
Just because of
make it about Eddie Howe.
Whereas we expected things under Keegan eventually.
Yeah, just like we expect things now. That's the way it works, man.
And we got things. But you know, let's not.
I think that season, Howe's season where he finished 4th and we lost 3 the whole season.
Yeah, that's
right.
With the best defense in the league.
With when what
that's
Keegan
my
was doing.
favourite season of all time. Not
But
the
it was
cup winning
so
season.
it was so exciting to watch that team. That
See, here's the thing.
that genuinely they were. I mean, kept losing 4-3 at Liverpool, which was bloody annoying.
Yeah.
But I mean, coming back from 3 down to get it back to 3-3, what a match that was. Tino Asprilla, just legends, all of them.
Yeah. Look, I mean, some things and some people are just bigger than. I mean, not bigger than football per se,
buzz,
but like
the buzz going to the ground in those days, pre-match and going to the ground, is unprecedented. Unprecedented.
We were everybody's second favourite team. That's something which Howe's not ever done, I don't think.
That's correct.
Everybody liked watching Newcastle.
That was before the social media days, though. We wouldn't have been everybody's second favourite team if social media existed.
That's very
Or
true
podcast.
as well, by the way.
Imagine the arrogance around Newcastle fans back in them days. Jeez.
Doesn't bear thinking about.
No, it's just fair expectations, man. That's it. Fair expectations. And again, you wouldn't expect Man City fans back in the day at Main Road wouldn't expect what they expect now. It's just life. You perform, you do well, expectations rise. We in the real estate terms, we have appreciated. That's the way it works, and our expectations have appreciated. When I know you don't appreciate that, you want to stay. You want to be in the past, and but we're not irrelevant anymore.
Words in my mouth again.
We're going backwards. Actually, we're going backwards this season. But anyway, King Kev, wish him well, of course, and that he can manage to pull through this. It would be great. How old is King Kev? I think it's 75. So he's
Valentine's Day, baby.
He is same birthday as my mum.
There you go. Gavin Fuller says King Kev never relied on present to create a chance.
Different game of football back then.
No. Proper football, man. Proper football.
Exactly. Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Passing the ball forward instead of ticky-tacky pendulum.
King Kev played proper football, man. None of that crap you're talking about. So anyway, right. That's that. Okay. So Newcastle released a statement today. And 7 up, 7 gone. Basically, that's what the title is. And a lot of we keep releasing. Again, I don't follow the team, so maybe it's a non-starter. But 7 players gone this summer from the academy. Last season was like 15 or something like that. I remember. So we know that Newcastle's academy is Dross, and even the Alfie Harrison guy that came from Man City, high expectations, never really played 1 or 2 times, never was given the opportunity to do so. And, so I don't know what's going on, but it should be a supplement for the first team, and it's not happening.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Chris, but you're absolutely mistaken. Newcastle's academy was Dross, but I'll just point you all the way down the age brackets and the international tournaments that they won at different levels. I think Newcastle's academy is rapidly improving. And, I know it'll take a while for us to see that in the first team. But those kids that come in at 14 and then start winning under 14 tournaments, 13 and win under 14 tournaments, they must be good. They're beating PSG. They're beating Bayern Munich. So I don't like you just dismissing that academy now as Dross, because that's part of the project, and that's part of the project that seems to be working pretty well.
What's working well?
I think that's
this academy working well, man.
The academy is. The problem is that the kids that were on the books, the 13, 14, 15-year-olds who were on the books when the takeover happened, that's what we had. And
yeah, but that's 5 years ago.
Those are the ones that are coming through now. They were Dross because the academy was never.
Agreed.
Yeah, but what are you talking about now? That's 5 years ago. So now, Kieran Thompson.
Those kids who were 13 then are now 18, 19 now.
And so what are you saying?
Those
kids 5 years ago are elite now?
No, I'm saying that's still Dross.
But the academy as a whole, that's bringing the kids in at under 15, under 14, under 16 are much, much, much better.
I can name one. Alfie Harrison wasn't there 5 years ago. We bought him. So
Yeah.
Where's
So
P?
that was a bad buy, wasn't it? That was a chance.
Where's Pivas? I want to know where. Yeah, I don't even know. Where's this Australian kid that is going now? I forgot. Mint. No, not Mint.
Garang
Kuol.
Yeah.
What happened to Munda? What happened to the Senesi? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what happened to them?
They're coming back. They've been on loan. They're coming back. Let's see.
Come on, man.
But you're talking about some of the quick fixes that they brought in at that level to hopefully find somebody that could do a year or two in under 21, come into the first team. That's not the revolution in the academy.
Well, I'm not. Obviously, the academy is long. I mean, it goes all the way down to
bringing the kids in. It's bringing the kids in from South America at 15, 16.
Yeah, but they're not even doing that. They've never done that. They've done it once or twice for kids that I wouldn't even buy if they were my family members from South America. So, you know what I mean? Come on. That's not really tapping into that market.
One of the things we had to do, academy-wise, was when we qualified for Champions League, obviously you start when playing the youth UEFA competitions as well. So players like Harrison were probably brought in just to kind of not allow us to get embarrassed, because for years our academy was dross. So then when you have a rapid progress, a little bit like the first team, when you get into the Champions League, you need kind of players aren't long-termers, but will do you a job short-term to kind of not allow you to get 14, 15 nil in the UEFA youth competition. So that would be part of some of them signings you've mentioned as well, in terms of Kuol and Harrison. They would have been brought in because they've already played UEFA youth competitions. They've got experience in them competitions. So they would have been brought in for that, not necessarily. Obviously, the hope is that they develop and go into the first team, but it would have been a case of, well, actually, we now play UEFA Youth Champions League, so we need some players who have got experience.
So, Super Chat there.
Yeah, was I saying Keegan brought players in and let them play? That's right. Keegan brought in top draw players. We paid top dollar for top draw players, and he said, "Go out and play, enjoy yourself. We'll have a game of 5-a-side and training."
Broke world records, and it was amazing.
Yeah, once or twice, man. Relax. Waza says, "Munda follow."
Dismantle the
reserve. Munda follow Sunda.
Munda follow Sunda.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like Munda, man. But, and listen, it may not be bad that we're getting rid of the draws. That's a good thing. I'm just saying it's very evident. It happened last year as well. So Thompson joined Newcastle at the age of 13. He's going in knackered. Kieran Thompson and Alfie Harrison. Well, you like the way I speak, man? Why are you laughing at what I say, man?
For me, it was just like the way you mentioned it like a youth player, and he could be watching. He's like, yep, he's knackered. He joined the 13. He's done. He's gone. Next one, he's knackered.
I'm straight to the point, man. No BS around me, man.
That's what we need more of in the world.
Exactly. There you go. Now, Harrison arrived from Man City in February 24. It's been that long. I can't. How many times he played for the first team, man? The once. He made the first appearance for Eddie Howe in the Cellar Cup. Fuck me, man. Cellar Cup.
I'd get a game in the Cellar Cup.
No doubt about it, man. August 24, before featuring again against Espanyol in the 25 preseason. So literally, come on, man. If I buy a player from Man City, they ought to play one. If we are knackered completely with injuries, they have to at least sniff the grass once. If he's a band, he don't need to be playing in any preseason competition, because that's for the team to get ready. Because then you get to use that excuse and say, we didn't have a preseason. Well, what are you talking about? You got to play the team to get ready for the season coming up.
If that's fair.
And let me remind you that we didn't win one single game that preseason last year.
He was brought in to play the UEFA youth competitions, because obviously we didn't expect to qualify, and our academy was light years behind the Barcelonas and the ones we were about to play. So the fact that Harrison had experience at Man City playing in the UEFA youth competitions is probably one of the reasons he was brought in, which not the only reason, of course. That wasn't why he was signed. The hope was he would develop into a first teamer, but it would have helped having players like him, Kuol, Sanusi. They brought in Shahar, Vlaktang Salia got brought in, who looks like an amazing player. He's been out on loan. I'm excited to see him. I think he might replace Neve on the bench. If anyone kind of follows Salia's kind of loan move so far. But I think he was brought in. I think he was brought in to help with the UEFA youth competitions because we were so far off it academy wise when we did not expect to qualify in that 23-24 season.
This season's results are showing that your under 14s, your under 15s, your under 16s are not far off it when it comes to competing with the elite academies.
All on the move.
So I dispute your original point that our academy is, what did you call it?
It was Dross.
It was Dross, but it was.
But it isn't now.
I think we're seeing a final
Well, we don't know that.
some of the older players, but further down the list, which we'll see come through year on year, I think we're very good. And I think we're really going to improve.
Also departing at under 21 level are Adam Harrison, James Taylor, Joe Brayson, Thomas Bryant, and Darren Palmer. Not even, if you're related to them, you wouldn't even know who they are. Like,
love it.
Best of luck,
your mind, man.
If you're watching, best of luck. Would love to have you on the show. But your family don't even know who you are. So cheers, Chris.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, man. Like, dude, these are under 21 level.
Because you haven't heard
Wait, you have not heard of. Have you heard of one of them? Be honest.
The only one
okay. Exactly.
It's Grayson.
Nah, exactly.
Only because you got a brother who played for us.
Yeah, whatever. All I'm saying is, under 21 level, you ought to know one, man.
To be fair, what would be nice is you look at Newcastle's like our cup. Even when we won the League Cup, it was like Forest who had a season where we finished 4th or 5th or whatever it was. We had Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. We never get like a cup draw against a Mansfield where you can just maybe put out some kids. So it would be nice.
Well, actually,
that's not fair.
We did play Mansfield once, and that's when Sanusi played.
We played Bromley one time.
Yeah,
we played
bench against Mansfield. Bromley.
Who do we play? It's Wimbledon.
Bromley was when Asula made his debut.
We played Wimbledon. Yeah. We've been again playing
not
many
teams. In like 4 or 5 years, was not many home games against like a team of.
Yeah, but we've also been in situations where multiple players have been injured in certain positions. And nothing. Listen, you cannot try to argue. You cannot try to argue that Eddie Howe gives kids credit.
Michael Ndueni's obviously had minutes. Sean Neves had limited. Michael Ndueni's not there now. Sean Neves, man. So again, we are getting limited minutes, but like I think we'll see. Hopefully, this season coming, players like Salia, hopefully Sanusi, hopefully Shahar. Hopefully them three, maybe Mason Miley. Mason Miley's been spoken about very highly. He could even be better than Lewis Miley. So you could potentially have Mason Miley, Raktan Salia, Trevan Sanusi, and Leo Shahar maybe starting a home game against League 2 opposition in a League Cup or an FA Cup. Hopefully, if they don't go back out on loan. But again, it's that argument, isn't it? What's best for youth players? Is it best to go out on loan and play regular football at the low levels and kind of become physical and learn that side of the game? Or is it better to train with the first teamers and when the opportunity comes up, get the chance? It's very difficult in terms of how you nurture a player. So I could do a whole show on that, to be fair, in terms of what's best for them.
The other thing is, Kev, that if you are excelling, your academy's starting to blossom. You're excelling at, let's say, under 14 level. What you've then got the option to do is to move into the under 15 level.
Hopefully,
so more him next season. If you're shining in your own age group, you go up to the next age group and so on. But our academy has been so
for years
ignored for so many years.
Hold on.
We are starting to see that happen now.
Look, the only time I judge an academy is really under 21, and that's it. I don't really look that far back because God knows the kids are not even. They don't even know what winning is.
I don't know. You've got Max Down in the Premier League at 15 years old.
But those are anomalies. There are anomalies though. Well, actually, or not so much an anomaly, but somebody giving them a chance. So are we? So it could be taken different. But I'm talking about because there are good players that you just give a chance to. Kun Aguero debuted at 15 years old, man. So what are you talking about?
Torres, 16 years old.
Saviola, I don't know who that is. I'll let you know. I'll send you the fax machine.
Saviola, what a player.
I'll send you the fax win to know who he is. Javier Saviola played Real Madrid, River Plate, Barcelona,
Awesome. Yeah.
and he debuted at 16. And dude, the shirts wouldn't even fit. The kids didn't even fit him. You know what I mean? They were oversized.
Mike
yeah, there you go. You know, so
but they're the exception, not the rule.
exactly, they're the exception.
Yeah.
So it might happen. It might happen, but. My point is, I judge them on the under 21s, the reserves, and those are the ones I look at because a lot of times they get bought. So if you make the deliberate chance to buy a player, come on, all of them can be draws. So that's the point. We don't know where's Pivas. I still don't know if Pivas is still in Newcastle. He's living in Newcastle or living in wherever he's at. You know what I mean? So Rory Finneran, we mentioned.
The 5 or 6 I mentioned there, we all bought, and hopefully this season, turning 18, 19, I hope they start getting opportunities, or maybe even, again, it's difficult, isn't it? Do you put them on loan? Like Elliot Anderson's loan move was it Bristol Rovers? Elliot Anderson's loan move to Bristol Rovers is what got him into the Newcastle kind of first team picture because he excelled so well in the lower league. So it's difficult. Man City like to keep players and like to have players kind of come on for the last 10, 15 minutes and get to know people. So I don't know what the best thing is. I don't know if it is alone. I think it depends on the player's personality. I think it depends on the environment they're going into. I think it also depends on the position they're in. I think there's a lot of decisions made at kind of youth levels to finally get to the under 21s in terms of what is the best development and the best environment for each kind of player on a human level. But then we have to, at some point, put them in and take that gamble, which I think we maybe haven't done well enough recently, especially maybe this season or a couple of seasons ago when lots of injuries. But hopefully we can learn from that. And these players now, like Salia, like Shahar, like Sanusi, have had a year away, have come back, and hopefully we'll see them in the Prem.
Ian? Oh, Ian's knackered.
Knackered.
So there you go. Who else? South Shields-born Palmer as well. He's knackered. He's probably gonna go. He's gonna go try at Sunderland.
That's not ever horse. Like game I played with you, Win. When I said it has to be yes or no. I'm just gonna go knackered or not knackered, and I'm gonna get Chris to play it. I'm just gonna go the new play. That'll get the comment flying.
The new player ratings need to be either. Blew your frock up, I'll read or something like that,
or having a laugh,
or are you having a laugh? Exactly. We need to do that.
Good, but blew your box off. That's it. Blew people's boxes off.
The good thing about Palmer is he lives in South Shields, so he'll go try for the Mackems next. He'll probably make it there.
Go to South Shields.
Hey man, let me tell you something. You go to play for South Shields, you're gonna have to keep a second job.
Correct. South Shields top the league, weren't they?
And so you got Dylan Charlton. Is he related to Bobby Charlton?
Very common Geordie.
If he is, Bobby doesn't know.
No, Bobby. You ask Bobby or the other brother. They're both knackered anyway. But you ask them.
You just said Bobby.
Love it.
Which one? One's still alive, right? Is it? Or no? They're both knackered. I think. But no, Jack is gone, isn't it? Yeah, Jack is knackered. Yeah, for sure. When?
Oh yeah.
Hey man, what's going on? I think, but they're all brothers though. There's no way they've been living a long time. When is Bobby? No, they're legends of Northeast football. But they don't know this kid Dylan, man. They're like, they ain't got a clue what this. Scott Bailey, Johnny Emerson. Come on, Luke Craigs.
Just because of Football Manager.
Luke Craigs, man. Come on, man.
South Shields last season, 95 points in a 23-game, 23 league games.
That's fine. Hey, listen, if you love football, you better go out there and be a champion. But if you love money, you better go out there and be a plumber. Because South Shields ain't gonna get it done.
You're not getting money to plumber in England. You're getting no money in England at all.
Hey man, nowadays plumbers make a lot of money, man. because nobody wants to do that job. You know, everybody wants to be HR. You know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, those players are gone. Steve Harper, he is the academy director. That means he is what? The main boss of them all, right? He's the guy in charge of the academy. Ain't that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and he is, you know, a good goalkeeper, but yeah, man. I'm on one tonight, man. I don't know.
Not a great academy.
Listen, I don't know, man. He knows football. I would say. I'm just saying he's been there for a long time, man. He didn't just get the job.
He did go to Sunderland.
He did recently get the job.
No, man.
Harper's been there a couple of years, hasn't
he? Yeah, man. What's the matter with you, man?
No. But he only took over as director recently.
2 or 3 years, I think.
Get out of here! Exactly. You know,
could be wrong though, but
I'm pretty sure
3 years is recently. If you're as old as me and Win, mine. 2 or 3 years is recently.
When you're as young as me and Chris, it's like ages ago to half of our lives.
But he said, in quote, "I want to extend my thanks to all the players moving on from the academy this summer. They have all made positive contributions." Okay. If they made positive contributions, they wouldn't be leaving. You know,
is that what he said?
That's the way it works. Yes, that's what he said.
I thought he said we're going to see these lads off because they're all knackered and their families.
That's the truth. But he wasn't going to say that.
He said, "I've been watching Chris the American Mag, and I can't express it enough. These 7 players are knackered. End of. Even my family don't know them. Adios." That was the quote.
They all have made positive contributions. Ian, if they made positive contributions, you think they're going to be leaving? Come on, man. You know the answer.
You can't have your best. What sort of training? What sort of training sessions?
I mean,
that
was shambolic.
If you only hang on to your 5 good lads. I mean, you can't.
Just saying, man.
We could have made a positive contribution around the training ground. People being good human beings. It doesn't always have to be football.
That's right. No, you're right. Yeah, 100%.
It can just be good human beings. Because these lads, best of luck. Hope you go on and have a mint career, and we'll see you back at St James's Park.
There you go. No, they'll never make it to St James's Park. Don't worry about that.
You were bad. I was hoping you were. I was like,
they'll never make it back, man. They'll never make it back. During their time here, positive contributions, and they're all well placed to continue their football journey on the back of the platform they built. Man, he also said our support for each of them will continue. It ain't continue if you let them go, if you sack them.
Imagine if we could make honest statements. Imagine if we could actually make a statement which was honest. Like, you know what? I don't wish any of them the best. But I haven't made any contributions.
But these are all lies, man. This is that English.
It's very English. It's very English.
Yeah, it's very English. They're great people. They haven't done anything wrong.
Very polite.
But here's the boot. Oh, man, come on, man.
Chris is going to say it to me when he sacks me from.
Yeah, man. It's time to go, man. It's time to go.
But he's a bell end. See you in a bit.
That's the way of the world, though. That's the way of the world in all sorts
of jobs. It all went
soft,
on it.
I joined many years ago, joined a firm of accountants to start doing my articles, became qualified as an accountant, and at various review stages, the less focused guys would be let go. Thanks very much for all your help.
That's it.
I'm going to have to let you go. Because you need to open up the spaces to bring the new people in. You've got to clear out at the top for the gaps for the guys from the under-18s to step up.
There you go. You got to.
An academy.
I don't think I have ever had to sack anybody from the channel.
I think they'd all probably like to prefer to think that these guys have graduated rather than being sacked. You know, when they come to look for a different team,
you see what I'm saying?
6 years at Newcastle's academy.
If they graduate, they'd be in the first team, man. They wouldn't be knackered in South Shield somewhere.
They've been training to become footballers, and they're in a brilliant position to go and get a place in a different team.
Come on, man.
Because
Arnie Slot
time in Newcastle's academy.
Arnie Slot has graduated to what we don't know yet.
That was fantastic. That was brilliant. He actually did make a positive contribution in terms of winning the league.
Hey, Win, have I ever had to sack anybody from the channel, Win?
bottom two squares.
I don't
Hillbilly.
think I have.
Get the Primark, man.
I'm just saying, man.
I've just played football, man.
Yeah. On behalf of, and he finishes his on behalf of everyone of the football club. We wish them every success in the future. With that, we can all agree. Wish him the best. Everywhere else, whether you see him at Costco or they go see. You guys don't have Costco's, do you?
Yeah, we do.
You got Costco's?
One in Gator.
Oh, you do? Is that like wholesale stuff? They sell wholesale
You have to have a Costco card though.
Costco card, exactly. You're gonna be seeing.
You just need to just go and tell them that you're self-employed and you qualify for your Costco card.
Oh, that's nice, man. You're gonna be seeing Alfie Harrison there, so just
it's gonna be McGuffer. He's gonna be manager of Costco.
He's gonna be doing the Dan Burn on the trolleys.
Oh, that's true. Hey, there you go. Look at that.
Alfie
Look at that.
And there you go. How about that? Alfie Harrison goes and does the trolleys on Costco. And
actually, Chris.
And 3 years later, he's playing for England. There you go.
Exactly. Chris said he had no chance making it back, but Dan Burn was playing for Blythe Spartans and on the trolleys for Asda. And look at him now.
But there's progression in that. You don't just go to. He didn't go to Newcastle and then. There's no story. There's no story in the world where a footballer has gone and played in the Premier League and then went to work at a supermarket and then went back to playing football. Not one. Look it up. But no, we're just playing here. You know what I mean? But hey, wish him well. But the thing is, I agree with Iain. Ultimately, just got to make those executive decisions.
You've got to clear the decks, as Ian's just
open
said.
Open up the opportunities for the younger guys, is what you mean, Chris. That's what we're doing. We're opening up opportunities for those young lads that are ready to step up.
Rico wants to know who are the 7 players. I mentioned a lot. I feel like I mentioned 30 of them, but it's only been a few. So Alfie Harrison. He's a good player. He's still been in the team. Kieran Thompson. Is Kieran Thompson? Oh, he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, goalkeeper. Goalkeeper. Yeah.
He was actually in he ain't good.
He's very good.
He's a goalkeeper. He's good with his feet. That's why he's knackered. He's good. But was he not? I'm pretty sure I've seen that name in one of the team sheets. Not like in the starting 11. I'm saying
the keeper that was released today was on the bench in one of the Champions League games.
That was Max Thompson, wasn't it?
Sat on the bench.
Oh, he can't even. So yeah, Kieran, for real, he's knackered for real. He's not even the best time.
There's what I said. We have the biggest, bestest Costco's in the world.
There you go. He's not even the best Thompson we got. That's when you know he's knackered, man.
Little Tompa. Not big Tompa, he's little Tompa.
Alfie Harrison, as I mentioned. Who else is out there? Goalkeeper Harrison. There's another goalkeeper Harrison. Adam Harrison. James Taylor. Joey Brayson. Thomas Bryan. Darren Palmer.
Great player.
And yeah. He keeps trying.
Great players.
Nah, man. Come on. Luke Craigs.
Oh, Craigsy. Good player. Very good player.
Crazy. You see, Craigsy, man. Come on, man. He's not related to.
He's a baller, Craig. Don't go for Craigsy. Proper baller.
Yeah, related to Craig Hope, maybe. He ain't no man. Is he working for Craig Sausage Roll now?
Hey, by the way.
He's gonna open up his new sites, the competition for Greg's. He's gonna call it Craig's Sausage Roll. Let me tell you something, Luke Craig's. If you open up a store and you actually put real sausage in there, you're gonna be rich, brother.
Craig's is a woodworking tool, but Max Thompson.
Well, you are a tool.
Yesterday we sold Max Thompson to Ayr United.
Oh, devastated.
Who?
Devastated.
Let me tell you something. Just because you put United next to your name don't mean you're a proper club. United means nothing in the world. of football, man.
Good team.
Where they at?
They're in the league.
Oh my God! This is like not the. Come on, they're not with Celtic and Rangers, are they?
Lots of potential.
He's 21, and we got £150,000 for him.
It's a steal.
How much
for somebody that good?
150
quid.
Oh my God, man, that is criminal, man. That is what 100. I'll be limit if somebody offers 150,000. And I'm a footballer, and somebody offers 150,000 for me, I'll grab that money, and throw it back at him. Come on, man.
150,000.
I would not go to a club that pays 150,000 for me. That is taking a piss.
They're in the championship, by the way. Level B, but they've been
good team.
Many times.
The championship in Taiwan.
In the Scottish Prem, many times.
Come on, man. Anyway, right. Let's move on then from the academy. They're all knackered, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and it ain't what it is. Let's talk about the goalkeeper, because that is something that we thought was going to happen. This Ewen Jaouen, whatever his name is, whatever his mama name is. Where's he from, and why's he got a name like that?
French.
That's French?
Yeah. He's French.
Man. That's when you know you're knackered. Man, let me tell you something. The world is upside down when French ain't French no more. Come on, man. That's Ewen Jaouen ain't French. That is not a French name, man.
Ewen Jaouen.
And Geordie Journo said he was pronounced Ewen Jaouen.
Ooh, yeah.
Evan. Why can't they just put EVAN?
Because the French. Come on, you know the French.
No, man. W and V in that's German, man.
But he could have some German heritage. You don't know why he's called Evan.
He should play for Germany.
Why not?
Anyway.
Well, anyway, he's French.
Okay, he's French, right? So I think did I not see him on the French team? Or am I seeing things? Oh my God! It don't matter then. It don't matter then. But it looks like Real Madrid are jumping in to fight for him. Did you know that?
Typically, even when we start shopping in the market below us, somebody comes and takes them off us.
Mm-hmm.
We played the French second league last year.
Yeah, so that part
shows our scouting team is getting better. If the people we are scouting are also being scouted by the likes of Real Madrid, then it shows that we're on our toes.
I don't know, because they came out after he's been licked all last week with us, so they jump in the bandwagon. So it doesn't look like a lot of recruitment there. And I'm not saying that they're looking at what Newcastle recruits, so therefore we're gonna, I don't think that.
Well,
but
I was going to say, even if that is the case, does that not even?
They're not looking at Real Madrid is not looking at what Newcastle wants to buy to snatch our signings, man. What's wrong with you?
Right. So which is it? It can only be one or the other.
It isn't.
Well, why are Real Madrid interested then?
Because they may like him. Because Newcastle were focused on him.
Chelsea are interested, by the way.
So they're like him.
And Chelsea.
Chelsea like him. Real Madrid like him. And we are and have been heavily linked with him for some time now.
Apparently, he's already come to see the facility.
Does that not say something good about our scouting system?
Yes. Yeah. Listen.
Okay,
hold on. Excuse me. Our scouting system has never really been in doubt using the methods they use, which is go look for good players. Newcastle have never looked at any other continent, signed a player, and all of a sudden that player becomes great and nobody ever thought about it. That is extremely well done scouting. Newcastle have gone to look at Ekitiki, have gotten Voltamata. They have gone to look at Sesko. They looked at good players. They just didn't get them. So that's never been the problem, really. The problem has been probably that we focused on that, and that's it. It's supposed to focus on that, but also do something else in case something falls through or whatever, So that's been the criticism, in my opinion.
No, you can't equate the likes of Jaouen, or however you want to pronounce it, to Ekitiki.
No, but this guy's a backup goalkeeper. So I agree with you. He's a decent. Well, first of all, we'll see how he can perform. I don't think that he's really been lighting it up. To be Newcastle United's starting goalkeeper, I still hold my reservations. I don't know.
If Real Madrid are interested, it would be interesting if we could get Andrei Lunin, who's their second goalkeeper.
There you go. But he's not going to. This kid is not going to play for Real Madrid, man. They're going to sign him and they're going to put him in the bench. If he's
going to be a backup or a development, could we take Lunin, who can't get in front of Courtois? And if they've got a young 20-year-old, 21-year-old there to play when Courtois is injured, then could we get Lunin on a bit of a bargain price? He would love the opportunity to play first team football, I'm assuming. So,
well, I think that we have. First of all, I would have gone for Lunin to begin with.
Great goalkeeper, yeah.
To begin with. But this Jaouen guy, he's going to, I would assume, we have that.
What's the difference in how much they would both cost? You cannot just make a statement and get away with it saying, they said, he's never going to play for Real Madrid. How the hell do you know he's never going to play for Real Madrid?
Because anybody with common sense that can see two fingers in front of him, Iain laughing at you right now, he doesn't want to be an asshole and just tell you, but I'll tell you. Like anybody with half a brain knows that Courtois is one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time.
Right.
And this Jaouen guy ain't got a clue.
Right now, yes.
Okay then, so what are you talking about?
So they're looking for someone who will eventually replace Courtois.
He's a third goalkeeper, man. He's going to be a third option. He's not a better goalkeeper than Lunin.
How do you know? How many times have you seen him play? Never, correct?
Hey, guys, you want to jump in or you guys care to... I mean, I can be the bad guy if you want me to, but,
Well, Chris, I'm with Win. This fella.
Oh, of course. But look at his face. Look at his face. No, Iain. You know what you're doing right now, Iain? You are looking at a crazy dude on the street, and you are just telling him, you're right, mate. You're right, mate. Giving him a thumbs up. Don't do that. Don't do that to him.
Listen,
tell him the truth. Don't do that to him.
Good for Real Madrid and Chelsea.
This guy might be.
Of course.
He's 20, right? He's 20 and he's a goalkeeper, so he's only just emerging. We've spotted him, but if Chelsea have spotted him and Real Madrid have spotted him, then he might be a special talent.
Well, here's the thing. That's fine. You can say that, but as of right now, we need Newcastle United to have a top goalkeeper at goal next season. So yeah, we can say that Jaouen is gonna become a great goalkeeper in 5 years.
Look at the Premiership goalkeepers who just came from absolutely bloody nowhere and performed really well last year.
Summer Lamans
came from nowhere.
Why couldn't we go?
Goalkeeper signed out of the Belgian second division or something, and he looks like a Premier. He looks class. So I think if you're spotting talent and you've spotted somebody and he happens to have only so far made it into a French second division side, you'll still see he's a good keeper. And if we've spotted it, that's good. But I think that him being a good talent is endorsed by the fact that Real Madrid and Chelsea are also sniffing after him.
So the facts on
much more experience in it.
Not only experience, but they can just buy a goalkeeper and sit him down. We can't do that. We can't afford to do that. They can just do that if they want to. And if it doesn't work, they just sell them and they can take a loss or because it's that little whatever they're paying for him. What are they going to pay for him? £2? It's irrelevant to their budget even. So we can't do that. We have to strike gold for the most part on positions, especially when we know we just sent Ramsdale packing. He's back at Southampton, which
How much was this fella going to be? Do we know? Is it about
I don't know. I mean, exactly.
I think we can.
Price will be going up now if Real Madrid and Chelsea are interested.
I saw 15 quoted on.
So the goalkeeper department. So
I've just seen 25
I think
million
you're right,
euros.
Chris. I don't think we can sign a Bruno type for 40 million and then find out he's not as good as we thought he was. But I think we should be at a point where we can bring 2 or 3 players in at 10, 15 mil.
I'm not sure Newcastle's the best place.
Develop them.
I'm not sure Newcastle's the best place to have a young goalkeeper.
Well, if he makes mistakes, he's not good.
If he makes mistakes, for fans, look when the ball goes back. I know Pope's a bit older and he is terrible with his feet, but when the ball goes back, the Pope is like a groan. And players ultimately don't. I think if you get a young goalkeeper, and look, the way football's played now, whether you like it or not, I prefer the older ways of football, lump that ball and get Zola or Ronaldinho on the end of it or something. But the way football's played now, that goalkeeper will pass one into his net or make a mistake or pass it to their striker because that's the type of football which is getting played in modern football. When that happens, the crowd could crucify a young goalkeeper.
100%. 100%.
I don't think it's the best environment at St James's Park to have a young goalkeeper. I think that's why Pope was originally a good signing, because he came in and had 2 or 3 good years, and he had the maturity and the experience to handle what he's going through now. Granted, he looks a little bit, past it now and knackered, as Chris would say, but he's done well overall as a £10 million signing. But I'm not sure a young goalkeeper should be coming in at Newcastle personally.
I think it wasn't a super chat.
Goalkeepers. If we sold this Max Thompson and then let the other one go, there's no goalies in the under 21s. Goody's gone. Gillespie's going. Ramsdale's gone.
Is Gillespie gone? I didn't hear Gillespie was gone. Rudy's gone. Rudy's gone. I didn't know Gillespie was gone. Is he gone really? I don't think so, man.
Yeah, Gillespie's gone as far as I know.
No, I didn't hear about Gillespie. I heard about Rudy though. Thank you, Wasp, for the super chat.
Wins like a bulldog chewing a wasp. You better watch it, Chris.
Yeah. And thank you, Wasp. And so Pope's future is suddenly up in the air. And I just don't think. Here's my philosophy on football that has done me pretty well. Thank you very much. You don't mess around with the backbone. And the backbone of the team starts from the goalkeeper all the way up to the striker. And I don't know if I wanted a very inexperienced, world on the shoulders, debutant goalkeeper at St. James's Park for Newcastle United. I'm not 100% sure on that. So
it could work if he's got the right personality. A young goalkeeper can work if they've got the right person. You have to be mad to be a goalkeeper anyway, don't you? So if he's got the right personality and a hell of a lot of resilience, because he's going to need it when the fans ultimately either turn on him, or 1 minute he's the greatest thing since sliced bread and the next minute he's hopeless and please don't pass the ball back to him.
It depends who it is. Just Krul came in young, and he's still revered. He got great. When he came back with Norwich,
Krul was fortunate that he could be eased in by UEFA Cup games, or Europa League as it's called now. Because obviously Shea Given was there still, wasn't he? Whereas now this young player coming in doesn't have anybody to lean on. There's no Shea Given to lean on.
Exactly.
You are going to be the guy. And that Jaouen, who's had about 5 different names in this episode, with the fee getting talked about now, because Chelsea will do that, is 25 million euros. You're not paying 25 million euros for a back goal from an old position.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Well, maybe they'll have to look somewhere else, or find someone with a bit more experience at that price. Because
I feel like
the Trafford humours haven't gone, have
Belgian keep the cost.
I don't know why the Trafford thing has disappeared. I mean, if he wants to leave, then Man City will just have to do it. 30 million, 40 million. I'd rather do that.
The difference is he going to Villa or is he coming here?
Well, I haven't heard anything about Trafford. So
where's Martinez going?
Yeah. Villa is.
I don't want that twat over here, man.
He's awful. He's horrendous, but he's been very good for us. He didn't enhance our team massively. Sometimes you got to put the personal feelings aside, and if Martinez becomes available, you take that twat and you put him in your team, and he becomes our twat, like Anthony Gordon did. Because he had he was a right.
Gordon had no fans, man. Geordie
Gordon was hated at
what's his name?
Playing for Everton.
Oh no, but Gordon was not. You heard Gordon left. Nobody cared about Gordon leaving. So only one guy, only one. No, I'm talking about now. Now that he's gone. Yeah, nobody cares about it. Only Win and another guy from TikTok. I forgot his name now. Geordie something. They're the two fans of Gordon that he has in Newcastle. That's why he left. He didn't care about Newcastle. So, I don't know. I think the goalkeeper thing is a weird one. I wouldn't mess with it. I don't know. I'm a bit weary on that. But anyway, I guess we'll see.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid Pope is Newcastle's #1 for next season. He'll be the starting choice because Eddie Howe loves him.
And by the way, if you buy the Jaouen guy, I don't know that Eddie Howe plays him over Pope. At least until like the first 3 months or something. And if you bring Trafford, I'm not saying that Eddie Howe will just play Trafford, but he might, because it's like there is an expectation. You know what I mean? You're certainly not going to. 2 months is not going to go past if you don't play Trafford.
Trafford to sit on the bench, I can assure you that. If we've got him, I don't
That's why he wants to be away from City, isn't it? He'll only come if he's guaranteed first team football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Wayne, did you want to say something about that before Iain rudely interrupted you?
If we are buying a goalkeeper, we should be buying the finished article.
Exactly. So you agree with me, but you just, for the show, for the views, you just want to disagree with me. All right, I understand, man. I get it. Super Chat's there.
We need to buy 2 or 3 goalkeepers.
Chris, who's after you? I'm bored. You know what?
Was it commented on the show I hosted saying it was the best show ever? I hung that on my wall. I said that to Chris, wasn't it? I've hung that on my wall, that.
And that's why he's going to be hosting Wednesday and Thursday. And I just made that up, by the way. And you're going to, so you got no choice.
I'm hosting on Thursday.
And Wednesday now. That's added.
Cheers, Waza.
There you go. Marquee. This one caught my attention. I'm not sure. It's according to the Chronicle as well. The Chronicle very busy, but I also get blamed for a lot of stuff that some people think that's not true. But either way, if they hear it, they'll post it. And listen, at this point, that's the way things work anyway. But it doesn't hurt to have the good old conversation about what's going on. And 50 million statement, basically Rafael Leao targeted to replace Gordon, according to them, with the Gordon money sitting in the bank. And Newcastle, well, that's kind of not so true, but either way. Newcastle are actively looking at Milan's Rafael Leao. The Portuguese winger has hinted he wants to leave San Siro, and his price tag has reportedly dropped to a very tempting 40 to 50 million pounds. Newcastle are in a dogfight with Spurs, Chelsea, Man United for his signature, according to the Chronicle. I think it's a very good signing. I think this would be a good signing. A proper replacement for Gordon. At least you know he'll put effort in it, so that's already a win. And I don't know. He's already knackered as before with the in-game management issues.
Do you not think they should be buying a replacement for Gordon with half of the Gordon money and using the other half of the money to go and buy some of the other replacements for the players that we are selling?
That's the plan, isn't it? In terms of, is it Abdi from Betis? Apparently, was a 51 million euro release clause, which is what, 46 million. So I think another option Newcastle are probably looking at, because it's been reported by almost everybody and his dog, so there's got to be an element of truth in it, but he's looking at it, is Abdi comes in for around about 50 million pound, which leaves ish 20 to 30 million, depending on how many games Gordon gets for Barcelona, to then invest that elsewhere. So I think the Rafael Leao one's just wild. I think we'll be making the same mistake as last season, shopping in a market which we can't.
You're talking about what he wants his contract.
We can't compete with Man United.
Well, I agree what you're saying, but I don't know, man. I don't think this is really. I mean, you just got to ask the player. Look, you want to come here or not, man? It's not that hard.
No, we'll probably tell Robert.
Okay, then we go somewhere else.
Why does he want to leave Milan?
What a Man United in what?
Because people like to move. Win
for another winger for.
I mean,
because he's been useless this season.
Get out of here. See, any player that so Gordon is useless. Then thank you very much. No. Prove my point. Good job, man.
If you've looked in the forum, I put his stats up in the forum when it was first leaked about 4 days ago.
You putting stats up don't mean that, man.
He's averaging less. His average ratings this season are averaging less than 6.5.
So what's the rate? What are the ratings on the winger? Win?
He's had 2.
No.
Two
I don't care about
the green.
I don't care about arithmetics and algebra. I want what stats that are relevant for a winger are below par. Goals, assists, and all the in between.
Right. Well, let's have a look at his goals and assists this season.
Right, and comparing to Gordon without penalties, and let's see how he's doing. Anyway, I won the argument without even trying, man. That's so unfair. Fuck me, man. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to play dumb, but it's kind of... I just stepped on. Hacky says, don't want Rafael. Think we should sign Leonardo instead.
He was always a better turtle.
I like Donatello. No, I like the orange one. Is that Michelangelo? That's my favorite, man.
Oh, it's Donatello red.
No, Donatello is the purple one with glasses.
Serie A 29
Donatello.
games, 9 and 3.
What's that mean, man? Say goals, this amount, that amount. Don't just...
9 goals, 3 assists.
That's proper.
That was Leao last season.
That's proper, man. What about Gordon without penalties?
The penalties count.
Yeah, of course. They count, but that doesn't really show your agility, your ability as a winger. That just means you know how to shoot, man.
Well, 3 assists. 3 assists in 29 games.
He'll beat them on the ground, he'll beat them in the air. Oh, Fabian Share. Beat them on the ground, he'll score from anywhere. Oh, Fabian Share.
Hey,
That would be great with Living on a Prayer, right? And then you add, he scores great goals and he's got great hair. Whoa!
He didn't even bother to sing Gordon the song to make Gordon the song. That's how much he loved him. Nothing. Cuff, they do count. Of course they count. And we're not about to compare Alan Shearer with Gordon, right? I think we're not going to go that far. But when it comes to buying a winger, I'm not going to buy ever a winger on how many penalties he can score. Never. That's not a sound decision make. You know what I mean? So, just saying. I think Leao would be a good shout. We can't sit here and talk about, we need to get somebody. So, are we going to pay $100 million for a winger? By all means. So, which one is it? Because at the rate that we're going to sit here in the summer after it's over and just complain that we couldn't buy because we didn't have enough money. But we also couldn't buy because there were dross players. Can't have both, man. You got to make a decision.
Oh, you could shop in your market like an Ez Abdi from Betis and development. Again, if you've noticed...
Oh, we're going to be at development club? Okay.
But yeah, well, if you've noticed, Anthony Gordon's statement when he left and the way the club treated that was very clever in terms of, what Newcastle have done for me. They've developed me, and I'm the person I am now because of Newcastle. And Newcastle are also putting out things like, "Thank you, Anthony Gordon. Look what we're not saying this, but in an element of, look what we've done to develop this player." You need to become almost not a stepping stone club for everybody, but it's a transaction, isn't it? You take a young player, you develop them into a world beater. They get you to win trophies, win cups, win leagues, and then you sell them and you allow them to go and play for Barcelona, Real Madrid. That is the story of 98% of clubs in world football, because if Real Madrid and Barcelona come calling, which every player wants to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona, if they come calling, you go. So Newcastle have been very clever with how they've marketed this Gordon exit, and the interviews Gordon's done and says he's very sad to leave and what a place this club's been for him, the best 3.5 or 4.5 years of his life. They are very cleverly putting out these messages so players look at us and think, like an Ez Abdi at Betis thinks, well, I can go and replace Gordon. I can have 3 or 4 good years there, help them win cups, maybe help them win a Premier League, and then I can get that move to Real Madrid, Barcelona. It's very, very clever how they've marketed this compared to when you look at the mistakes which were made around Alexander Isak. We're not selling them. You're not going. We won't allow you to take your dream move. We are now trying to look more suitable for younger players like an Ez Abdi from a Real Betis, from a Real Sociedad to come to us, become a superstar, and look, we'll happily let you go to a Barcelona or Real Madrid once you've got us some trophies in the bank, and we'll take lots of money from you. I think it's been cleverly done. I think that's the market we should shop in. I think if we go for a Rafael, it's going to be a lot of money, a lot of wages. I don't know if there'll be a sell-on thing there. It's not really a development player. He's got a big reputation. If we go for players with big reputations,
you honestly think that 50 million is a lot of money for a winger, man?
We will get outdone by teams like Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City, Real Madrid, Barcelona. This is what happened last summer. The club were ambitious, and I don't mind that. I love that the club tried to get players like Ekitike. I love that the club tried to get Sesko, but we've got to learn from them lessons, and I think we are with how they've marketed the Anthony Gordon sale. We will develop you. You come and win stuff for us, and we'll let you get that dream move.
Newcastle's biggest problem last season was that they were doing one deal at a time, and that can't happen ever in football again. So you gotta.
We didn't have a DOF. We didn't have a.
There was no team there, was there?
It was irrelevant. It's irrelevant now. It can't happen again for whatever reason.
It's not happening, is it? It's I say that it's earshot that it isn't happening now. We're on the ball.
Okay, well you kept saying that last season, and we still didn't sign anybody until last week. So
that's because PIF were sitting on their hands.
For whatever reason, I'm going for the last comparison, and that's what it was. Right? I don't go on hopes and I don't go on hopes and dreams. I go on facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. Win. That's the bottom line. The last factual summer we had, it was draws. So you can't. One thing I will say, Newcastle United did the Gordon thing marvelous. It was a marvelous way of kicking him to the curb.
Yep. No,
you saw the infectious disease in there. Boom, get it out. Take some what do you call the antibiotics? Get it out of there. Get it out the system, baby. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, every day for 10 days. Boom, out, knackered, gone. Let Barcelona deal with that mess later on. They'll be regretting that. Don't worry. So now, player that wants to leave, if they don't want to leave, the problem is though, because players they handle all this. They're the ones that run the show.
Yep, players have a power, which is why we've marketed this very well. That's what I was saying.
And the great thing about, I think it was that Chris is so on the fence. He's definitely a master sprinter. I think it may. But here's the thing. The great thing about Gordon is that he jumped ship so early. He saw his teammates and everybody else drowning. He just got in a dinghy and took off like them people in France do to England. He took off so fast that nobody saw him. But the problem is when you have a player that's undecisive, and if they don't know until they see the right team come, and then you're in that tug of war, then you're wasting time. Because if you're Newcastle, you want a player out. But if they don't know, if they're not decided that they want to leave, then we're screwed. That's the power that they have.
I think the club last year, the problem was they were really ambitious and they tried to keep Isaac. They were desperate to come, like in the olden days, in the 90s or even the early 2000s when Ronaldo gave Man United one more season and Modric gave Tottenham one more season, and you could convince players to stay because they did have a lot of power. But the club ultimately would say, look, you've got a contract with us. You're not going anywhere. You're going to do one more season and then we'll let you go to Real Madrid. They try to be really ambitious. They try to keep Isaac and they try to lure Isaac to stay with, look, we'll get a ticket to play with you and we'll get Sesko to we'll try all these things. So I think we've learned from almost realising that we don't really have any power. So they market the Gordon one really well. And that'll hopefully encourage players like Zabdi from other teams to say, you know what? I can go and take Gordon's place and in 4 years I'll be playing for Real Madrid. So I think we have to accept that that's where we are. We're not an elite club. We haven't had the setup for a long time. The last time we did have a setup with Staveley and Caducci and all that, we had very good transfer windows. So hopefully we're learning. I know there's another 3 or 4 hires today at Newcastle. I don't know if that was covered in the earlier show. So we are trying to act like an elite club with the way we've marketed the Gordon sale and how we're allowing him to achieve his dreams. And eventually what happens is you start winning trophies with these players who are coming in, who are almost using you to get to Barcelona and Real Madrid. And then you start winning Premier Leagues, and all of a sudden, you're now a team who doesn't have to market it that way, and they're coming to you to win trophies, a little bit like Manchester City did.
Yeah. Hey, man,
but
this
we
guy
need
looks
to
like...
accept that we're a long way off that.
Would you call Man City...
It takes time.
Would you call Man City a stepping stone club?
They were.
Of course not.
Not now, but not because they've won.
Man City's losing.
Well, they lost Alvarez, but they wanted
Rodri's
Alvarez
off.
going. Jesus went.
Bernardo Silva's off.
If Real Madrid,
hey,
everybody's a feeder
coming.
club. Everybody's a feeder club for Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's an exception. But Man City have now done it so well, where they started with like Elanos and who was Giovanni coming into Man City. They were pretty much saying to them, you guys can go and play for a Barcelona Real Madrid, but you need to do a job for us to do it. Win titles. When they win titles, then they become a big club. Go on, Chris.
Only if you knew. Adrian Pickett, you speak Spanish, I think, in the chat. What does Elano mean in Spanish? Other than a surname that's very strange. Look it up. Type it up on and say, what does Elano mean in Spanish? But anyway, so, hey, look, man, it looks like we hired the Shumps. Look just like the Shumps. You see that picture? of the guy. You know who the Champs is win?
Fucking yeah.
And it looks like we hired him, man. He's in the middle right there. He's wow, that's very look-alike you there. So World Cup winner, we got him in the club. So that's
I wish.
There you go. So it looks like Newcastle United pleased to announce 3 new appointments to our executive team. Graham Johnson has joined as chief fuck me,
head of HR. Head of HR.
This is criminal, man. What is and this is supposed to help us in the summer window. Somebody that knows people.
Every other club will have this. We are taking the mic.
No.
Every other club, I promise you, who are operating at an elite level
Man,
will have these things.
Too many. It's literally too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Literally, you got Dave O'Connor. Dave O'Connor arriving as chief revenue officer. So we've had no CFO, chief financial officer. Is that a difference in that?
That's a difference.
Oh, there is, really. And Stephen Taylor, did he play for us? And he will take up the role of chief marketing officer. We had no marketing team before this. Wow, we've been a draws club. If this is just, we are just starting to hire these people.
We were.
2026.
We were. I know it's been 4 years into the takeover, so I'm not saying that. But you've got to remember, like, under Ashley, this club was neglected for so long.
Man.
So long. There's no denying that. You can't grow into that. There is
Man.
Hang on, Chris, look directly in your camera now. Look directly in your camera and tell everybody for 14 years under Mike Ashley, we weren't neglected.
We are 100% neglected.
Exactly.
We didn't just get taken over, man. It was 5 years ago.
No, but when we
These
got
are
over, no, wait. Any business. What was the direct mission when the takeover first came in? It wasn't getting a bloody finance officer or chief or whatever. What was the direct mission when the takeover came in?
Save us from
relegation.
And then we had a season of a lifetime where we somehow got into
You still got 4 years ago.
No, wait.
Then we got saved.
Got into the Champions League, and all of a sudden everybody was panicking. Oh my God, we can't play the Champions League with Jacob Murphy and Chris Wood, and we can't play the Champions League because Fabian Shaw wasn't that good back then, and we can't play the Champions League with Joe Linton. Holy hell. How do we do this? Then the main mission is, oh my God, please buy people. Please bring people in who can come and play Champions League football. And we finished bottom of our group in the Champions League because we weren't ready. We grew too quickly. So then the challenge changes and the mission changes. You've got to take into account context, which is my biggest issue with Newcastle fans. No context, no history. Like, it didn't matter. It's all about now. You're welcome. Just educated some people.
Look, man, that don't mean you take 4 years to appoint people that should be there to begin with.
You're right. It should have been.
If that's the case, by the way, because I don't think we need a people officer. Because what the hell do we need a people officer for?
To manage people.
We didn't have that before. I mean, what is this, man?
Mike actually was down in pints in the boardroom. Man.
So who's hiring people? Who's managing them? Like, what is this?
We didn't even have HR.
Why do we need to get?
Beasley had an issue when he was academy coach, and there was nobody to sort it out.
Come on, man. Why do we need the Shams to come from France to save us right now, man? Why? I don't know. Again, none of this. I mean, you guys mentioned, by the way, just 5 minutes ago, that we hired people that supposedly is going to help us in the summer. Why do all these chiefs help us do anything in the summer?
That's behind the scenes stuff, isn't it? It's not transfer. Transfer has already been set up. There's already a plan there. The window hasn't opened yet.
Basically, we're just making more jobs for the boys.
There were between 150 and 200 non-playing employees of NUFC pre-takeover. So that's all your catering staff, everybody.
That's not
catering staff, pretty much the same. Slight increase because there's more hospitality now. But right now, there are over 500 full-time members.
And there'll be more in terms of volunteers. There'll be more in terms of a foundation, which will link to the club directly.
Well, I think that'll be included, actually. But
do you think so?
Yeah,
volunteers as well?
Nonetheless, we have got 300 more staff now than we had then.
So business has grown and they've had to create a position to help manage them.
300 more. What is this, a factory, man? Oh, my God. I don't know.
It's because we were so dross 5 years ago.
That's why Chris couldn't look into his camera and tell people seriously. He couldn't do it. Tell people that we weren't neglected.
We were neglected. There's no doubt about that. One thing that wasn't neglected is the business side of it, though. We're making money just fine, and people were getting along just fine. The team was neglected, but the club's making money. What do you think he didn't sell for a long time? So they were printing money in there. Trust me. Now they're printing more money, you can argue, with Adidas and all the retro kids, the win buys, and every time they come out.
Interesting point, by the way, that the new Adidas kit has apparently gone on sale without a sponsor.
Well, that is the biggest shambles you could ever freaking. That is the biggest shambles of any club.
I mean, that was shambolic.
I think Chelsea's the only one.
6 clubs in the same position this year because you no longer allow gambling sponsors in the Premier League. So Bournemouth don't have a front of shirt sponsor. Villa don't.
Yeah,
have
but
a front of shirt sponsor.
That's not our case.
Yeah, but they knew at the start of last season, and they still haven't sorted out a front of shirt sponsor. But we weren't going to have a gambling company, so they've had a whole year to get front of shirt sponsors, and they haven't done it. So we're not the only ones dragging our heels on this. There must be a reason.
No, well, maybe because we think they should be paying more, and we're going to dig our heels. Hey, whatever. How much Adidas give us? Well, Adidas is not the seller.
It was.
How much? Seller, not Adidas.
£40 million a season, but that was conditional on.
Seller.
Seller was 25 million.
Yeah, because Adidas is going to be there. It's not, but seller.
No, but we don't get as much from Adidas because we're not.
Well, we're going to get something from Adidas. We don't just get to wear their brand for nothing. But that
down to 25 for about.
Oh, that's shit, man.
From 40.
There you go. Well, you'll be happy about that since you thought this season was all right. And but the seller thing.
When have I ever said this season?
Plenty of times. You criticize one day and then the next day you're like, I thank you very much. Neglected Woody. Someone changed his nappy. How way, man? There you go.
What a classic. What I can't possibly think the 14 years under Ashley were productive, successful, and growth.
Hey, Win.
Can't do. And I like was class.
I got a question for Win. Name other than Alfie Harrison, any other players, and Brayson, any other players that we mentioned earlier on that got knackered by the club.
Well, crazy. The only one I told you, the only one I recognized was Brayson.
Man. Well, let me tell you something. They're not the only ones.
So I'm not going to bother remembering them.
They're not the only ones that got knackered because we also got 7 players. When this is your segment, that got knackered as well from Newcastle. We released 7 first teamers, man. That's not good.
That's what we started the show with.
No, those are academy players. These are first teamers. There's 7 first teamers that we released.
And I'm really bothered about any of them, aren't I?
Oh, fuck. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? We released what's her name? Femke Liftin. What's her name? Claudia Moan. Get it. I'm watching you, man.
Great name for a woman, that, isn't it?
I'm gonna get into it.
Hey, man, don't get us canceled, man. Hannah Hawkins, HH. I think I've seen her play. I think I've seen play on the highlight. Shania Hales.
She actually played in the first.
She's a new signing, and she already got knackered. Come on, man. Win, pay attention, man. Stop scrolling through your computer. Pay attention. Georgia Fox. She's a Fox. Georgia. And Simone Charlie got knackered. She looked. Deanna Cooper. That's a funny way to put Deanna, though. I thought Deanna would like. Oh wait, Deanna like the Princess Diana? Oh no, that'd be Diana, not Deanna. Oh, never mind. Anyway, so there you go. 7 lasses, 3 goalkeepers, by the way. Fuck, man, they got knee goalkeepers. Newcastle United need goalkeepers on both.
The thing about goalkeepers.
Yeah, so there you go, everybody. We got knackered. Claudia is in Kev's internet history.
Love it.
Come on, man. I'm just taking a Mick on Win. He's very interested. He wanted to know. He went.
No.
Wayne wanted to know exactly what happened with the lenses. No, hey, be careful, Kev. Be careful.
I mean, the person who commented it. Not me.
Okay.
I'm in trouble if he's in the chat. He knows a lot about me, and I'm in trouble.
Hacky 1980. Sorry. There you go. He's in the house. Anyways, and Osula excited. So there you go. Come on, man. What are we doing? This show is going to shits, man. I'm telling you. We got 5 minutes left.
There you go. That's a new sale on strip without a sponsor. New strip on sale without a sponsor. But look who's at the bottom as well without a sponsor.
I've said Villa, Bournemouth, loads of them without a sponsor, but Newcastle fans will jump all over it like a massive.
Just because, you know, my mama used to tell me when I used to say everybody's hanging out on the street, you know, cutting it up. I mean, if everybody eats shit, don't mean you need to eat shit either, too.
Just means there's a reason. There's a reason why.
Just because everybody else ain't got a sponsor and they're gonna let them deal with not having any money. Newcastle United shouldn't be dealing with not having a sponsor due to not being able to qualify to Europe. I don't know what Villa's thing is because they got everything. So maybe they got everything and they thought we want more money. Maybe they got greedy. But I'm just saying we cannot afford to not have a sponsor. So that's all I'm saying.
You know, this is where David Hopkinson proves his worth. If we start the season without a sponsor, that to me means he's not doing his job either himself or in terms of appointing the right people to do the job. You know, we're all kind of pleased to see the back of Silverman when he got beat, but he's been replaced now, and it's the new guy's job to get these deals over the line.
And Lee says, can't get the shirt off AliExpress for $5.70, which, by the way, I saw somebody on X showed it in Taiwan. They're already printed out in Taiwan, ready, hanging up, looking lovely. So all I'm saying is, man, this is not a good way to start things if we don't have a sponsor. But I don't know.
We don't even know if we'll start the season without a sponsor.
Correct.
I'm saying, of course we don't. But I'm saying, but right now there ain't one. So I don't know. Anyways, we gotta go. We've had a lovely show.
Hey, sell our other sponsor up to the end of June, aren't they? So that we don't need a sponsor really till the 1st of July.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that. I mean, the seasons are.
Chill.
Historically, there's always been a shirt out.
Chill. You're just extracting the last pound out of the person who will be appointed. I have faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with that being seller, a PIF company, you would
just get Saudi Airlines on the front of that shirt.
Well, that would be a quick fix.
Just stick that. But the problem is again, with Premier League changing the rules where they have to approve all the sponsorship and all that rubbish because again we don't want us to grow. So yeah, thanks Premier League. We have to get everything approved. That could be a reason why there's 6 other teams without a front of shirt sponsor. Because they can't do the dodgy deals we used to do because everything has to go through a Premier League. Is it fair price? Is it fair this? So, hey, we'll see.
Fair market value.
Lovely. We'll be back again tomorrow, ladies and gents. Tomorrow Jack hosts. And, so tomorrow is Jack. And he couldn't do the next other days. Anyway. Lovely show. Super chats. Thank you very much to all the super chats. I appreciate you, Waza. Prosaic gifted membership earlier on, I think, and everybody. Everybody.
What a legend.
Everybody that takes care of the channel, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Oh, Monkey Sputin as well in there. Thank you very much, mate. And everybody. Become a member. Help the channel grow. Become a member now. And you should get exclusive content and perks. And sign up for the World Cup prediction tournament. Link is in the chat right there. Sign up. And it's a 10-pounder. Get in, and we'll send you the link so you can join the prediction tournament. Thank you very much. And we'll try it out and see if it works. If not, then we'll go back to the old Mighty Win ways. So there you go. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Away the lads.